Ghana walada akegmeni we what's all back me. I think there are about 11 people ni like you could show fine. I'm going to know ni ya ngwe ko. Mi pa bo fine no ba shebi ene. Jani fe mo kinya moko ni lewu e kinya moko. O fine. Shout outs to you at all Kankpa. You are doing a fantastic job. Over any platforms I don't know your bomodin kegmeno. Ona boni ni yo kegmeno ja o personal friends ke ha me na me bali anokwale. Like I said, if something a proper ojugba these past couple of weeks we've seen actually a lot of people need amele anokwale. You understand what I'm saying? Cutting the videos in pieces, putting them on TikTok, especially on Facebook. You understand what I'm saying? Clearly, me nake may pile boli boni ayale na kempeke kame yale. Ona boni ni so it's any work ba no kwale. Li ake wote ame pi you know there are a lot of people ni oli ameni ame sumonga. Eni ame follow no ni esa because ame nako anukwale. Shout outs to you, Reverend Dr. DJ Pinapi. Reverend Dr. DJ Pinapi is in the building. Numo mini ya anoi. So far ne jani fe mo. Kiamoko ni lewe kiamoko boni afe. Ni me pi anye ameba le anukwale ona boni ni yo. Ni me pi anye abale anukwale hiya wa adi enche. So bomode ni ojani fe mo kiamoko ni lewu kiamoko ye ishiba mi. Mene wasawo be ko nke bu akeme na me bona. Anything na make about jekwe. There is a document, an impeachable document, ni a go against or no ni ame feel. Ni last week another video na me gejeko. Is video ni matramabu of Nii Odaifio Welentse'S. You understand what I'm saying? Ni in biake ani noni ewe ye video me na me post. And they are doing that to sort of say, okay, shout outs to you, Kush. Kush Melo is in the building. Kush, over the boy Ojugba. They are doing that to Koni me a question Nii Adama Latse'S na Gazette as if to say, okay, Nii Adama Latse'S a joint phone beno. Of course, look, I'm a PA a phone bejiano na me chon. So they want to rope everybody into their negative ways. You understand what I'm saying? Into befon giano na chon na Gazette. They are doing this because they want to rope Nii Adama Latse'S into the same soup. But except you see, there are documentary evidence to everything. Shout out to you, Nyemi. Numo Emmanuel Koblan, Ofani Boy Ojuba. Happy New Month indeed. Mr. Welbeck, Ofani Boy Ojuba. You understand? And in the Nojinoni ha ni no na me fi ofe ame sande aja mo fe mo ni ntaw na ele anukwale mo fe mo ni efe yake e ba le anukwale na follow anukwale se wojin ye. Now that is not to say aga mo amebe wojin ama ye wojin, except I get most of the time I'm interpreter wojin na me yo wrongly. Number one. Number two, wojin na me yo shishije wojin. Amega shishi je boni ame presenter ameke se chon. She keke se yagbena e konklowe ameke no me e chon. You understand what I'm saying? Ameke no me e chon. And that is what me feel ye. When they produce a document, I will read their document to you. Okay, no na make a document ne ba na me present neke document ne ye court te agbena te ni judge na. Ni judge we ne bua sanye te agbenaten. That is the difference between them showing their documents and what we do here. You understand what I'm saying? They put it out there. I'm a follower. But most of the time, it does not end well for them. Ni video na try Professor Dabi, ye Professor Nii Odaifio Welentse'S, you any be P. Ni no. And that goes to show you how ni ametia me pie. You understand what I'm saying? Ametia me pie amejegawi. And look, and for some of them they did it because the more ni gamashi ba fe boni efio e wale na ameta wa me bana. Nungua is showing off. I mean, no fair, no, because Gamashi Edra. Ni, I mean, Nungua me, look, Eja no quale. I'm a fit eko ni Gamashi Edra. Nii Odaifio Welentse'S eyemi. Numo Babu eyemi. Yes. Numo Babu, I can call you. Kefie, nibi appear, kefie jeni sumoni nkete. You see, Kamoko Kebo no koe. More trust or back keep like a secret. You understand what I'm saying? She Numa Babu Sanina Sanine ma be permission. Na mini make. Oh, you understand what I'm saying? Sana ha me permission ni make. Shout out to you, Nemisa. Sania me permission ni make. A lot of them. Government in power. Ben you know ni mina chole numa kwa minsan yuye. Government in power. A lot of them were influenced by the government in power. Number one, some of them gamashi boni efe ebani amena me wale. So for some of them, it was a political play, it was a power play for all of them. Ni ameye anu kwale. Ni imbo video etwe. No ni imbi yake no Nii Odaifio Welentse'S ni o town no fe no jale ni o ke you oppose Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette because sane ye gamanche sane ye Kevin Taki no push ga wo mi no mi gamanche sane ayi atan Nii Odaifio Welentse'S ke bia mi na ke Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette ya he spoke against it because anako sane na ye bia Nii Odaifio Welentse'S ake and the regional house of chiefs said the president Jile Sanebejo Lona ayolo. So where is his principle? You see, again, when you are in one question, where is Nii Odaifio Welentse'S principle? If he wants to come across as the most principled person, ni ena akesane yagamanche yelie. No yele susumumie esani a processor Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette. Nyebia Nii Odaifio Welentse'S na kensanie ayelo na kensanie anana ni ekwo na processor Kelvin Taki Gazette lo. You see these people, you see? I'm a year no quality. Shout out to you, Madoma. My boy Ojuba. Shout out to you, Auntie Mary. You find a boy Ojuba. These people yeah no quality kutum poka bla. And when we talk, okay, what chomo beke be going? You understand what I'm saying? In one breath, okay, Nii Adama Latse'S no kasane yaka process. In another breath, or push Kelvin Taki through. What sort of a man are you? What does that make you as a man? What does that make you as a leader? You see, anything I put out there are documents. And today I'm going to show you documents. In UAKK. Noni le nkamoko. Ni le baba ne ba yui. Mene nka documents ba chombo. Ona boni ni yo. She before ni wa ba ya no. Chemege nyeme. Imma binyom. As to you Nemisa. Ufane boy ojuba. Ye shi ba mli. Mink babu fa. Ufane keji oke onike ni e bakwe. Bomode ni oke onike ni e aba onu. Ye shi ba mli. Mink babu fa. Bomode. Mene we got a very big check from Sam Annan ke Mrs. Gifty Annan UK. Mr. and Mrs. Annan, Uncle Sam, Keman Gifty, Imami Kem Papa, they gave us a very big check. I appreciate you so much. Nungbo, ajoy your fair. Look, I was really surprised by the amount you guys sent. Mr. and Mrs. Annan, Mr. Sam Annan, ke Mrs. Gifty Annan, UK Niami. Imami Kem Pakomi, Nungbo ajoy ni ewonye no. Ni eshwelenye yani nye solemo fe abami ni ta omoni fe efe ehanye numa jonye wa denche I think kajabeni wa boy donations fe mo that was the none I'm sent today would be the biggest individual donation, and that is not to say I appreciate every single one of you, but I want you to know they really sent us a very big check. You understand what I'm saying? So I appreciate them a lot, and I appreciate every single one of you. so nye fe nye yana walada okle ya no ne jonye ne hwele nye ni ebonye no twumomi kegbechi ni ko yenye gbe ninu ewonye na ko nye ko no aba nye kenye no aba beninyo ne ba ke egbiona okleji elenche agie na kengbechi ni yenye gbe koni efe nye dromo egbele ngwen samfle anye ngwen samfle no ne ba agbele mismo ne egbele no ni shika no oda because shika san ya yo egbele shika no anye koni shika na hwe nye no shika na hwe nye no na kenye te shika ko te no question no kanje £1,000 ke go wo ko te no get a suitcase ko wo £1,000,000 ke suitcase ke go wo oda boni ni yo that guy no ji sole ha nye kodi nye fe nye bomode ni nye pia wo wonye me la mano like I said, we'll try our best to see whatever ni wobanye wofi wo ha me oda boni ni yo based on the amount of donation ni wobana. So I appreciate every single one of you. Week in when Ma Phoebe from the UK when in the share no Ma Phoebe, thank you so much, Auntie Phoebe. Thank you so much for blessing us. We appreciate you a lot. We have a very good amount. No matter when Mr. Papo, ya UK near me. We have a check week in there. So Mr. Papo, bo nyumbo ajobo ojogba dienche nyumbo ajobo ojogba dienche agbene we mo fe mo ni oko no eba nyumbo ajo nye fe. Shout out to you Nicholas ni okankwe impa ofanite oyoten be oyojogba min bai nyama ka imami ake matwale back onu. Right, so chameka nyame nyefe nyeyi ana walada nyani wo boti amli mene dabi before no about me nye fine nyani ma fe announcements few about what God gni e bano ye BNA keke agbene wo boti sanjiami. And like I said, Kayochi bole bonin fiole. We'll deal with the documents. I'll play you the video, and then of course we'll deal with the documents. Bona, she before ni waba yano ofa in the first one ni min tawni in Chomboji. Yeah, me 1 second. Waba bote mi video ni obana ni ame release ye jeme. Boy send it my way. Kona na ame fe document ko send it my way. Anukwali ele ekomepe ona boni ni yo ni waka anukwali ba chome. You understand what I'm saying? Fe ko ni ni ba she no especially for the new ones any your be born aboni ni yo so nakai. There you go. Shout out to you, Nigamashi, Ofanebe, Oyojogba. Now, one Jenshike, a few announcements. Afibe, ne Tumobeni Kebue, Gandangme, Pennsylvania, September 12, 2026, Shamanic Drive, Nke FNO, your Shamanic Drive, wo, Google Maps, me, Ekabo Baba Jemeton, Game, we are a peculiar people. Kosha Jemeno Banaga Fumo, Olaji. FNO directions to Shamanic Drive, Philadelphia, PA. Shamanic Drive, Philadelphia, PA. Koka womi no ikabo babaton. O find a date September 12, 2026. When jenshi 12 noon, kata 6:30. Ming pabo 5 wa adienche. Class captain, got you. Bomodem ona boni ni yo ni oba feta wohi ni was celebrate wo omoho agbene we kano yen pano Gadangme Council of New York. On Saturday, August 29th. Saturday, August 29th. Me date. Ina me ba fie yo. Me 1 second. Ma chombo ina me ba fie. So fine. Keji oye New York near me. Bomode. Me ba fie 1600 Crotona Park, East Bronx, New York. 1600 Crotona Park, East Bronx, New York. Jameji any ameba feye so bomode koni oya pia amese Saturday 29th agbenenwe Gandangme Association of New Jersey Gandangme Association of New Jersey amo ameno amenfele Saturday 29th no amenfeye 320 Conan Street Hillside, New Jersey, 07205. So I feel Conan Park. So Jemeji Bene Achojan, Conan Park, 320 Conan Street, Hillside, New Jersey. Agbene with the next one, Nkabonya, Florida, Niami, Gadangbe Bay of Tampa Bay. Ameo 29th August, Nakaino 2026. Ameo Faye 2901 Bayshore Boulevard, Tampa, Florida. Gandangbe Bay of Tampa Bay. So boli mofemo any peteboe bomode koni oyajeme ni wafe waye afie ni wo pia wa ise ono no cheme ya loje na ka wo gameji wo isani wo bomode ni waye wa afi ojogba no jino ni fi owo game nyani wo ke no atwani ni no fe no aye ojogba nyani wajenshi as usual boli sani watwa video ne nuwoke no ajeshishi ka gbene wo fe shitamo boni isani wo fe lojugba. And like I said, this video audio ne it is loaded. No na no fe no nite no jugba. So once again, nya wo boti am yo find a jani fe mo kiyamoko ni lewu ekiyamoko ehami ye eshiba amlin bomode kiyamoko ni lewu ekiyamoko ehami. Let's go.
Okay, contempt. Let the side to contempt with an authority, regional ministers, government, feeling and do a free. Go side to contempt. Put it. We feel like I am you now. No, in point there. Me, I'm actually, I mean, no, Kevin, I'm actually, I'm a call, I'm at one. Me feel strongly, okay. Can look at the Kenya, no. Be hilly, Jenny. Which I got, okay, what share game, no, be one, or what is wrong. Already, well, I guess I need to be your NBI. No, be many. Okay, but hello. Okay, but many use so. Men are used so no give many vegetable. It more politics when you feel there. I use many potential campaign like a fight. It's a solid strategy. Yeah, it has always worked. It makes it very easy. Yeah, man. Which I know you. Yeah. Catch it, but fear, whether you like it or not. Gazette and a secondary matter. Gazette has always been secondary matter. Okay, and you and I know, seriously, the government of the day, through just a phone call, can call for the deletion of Adama Latse'S name. Exactly.
If time permits us, I have a judgment. Kuni is anima kandi mahabo. If time permits, the other one, and you clearly look. I'm a quack. Judge order. Maybe I should do that as a separate show. Okay, judge ko order Justice Ali Baba e order ka je Nii Adama Latse'S. The case now make it was not for Nii Adama Latse'S name to be expunged. You understand? That is why I keep telling my brothers, I can look, these things are there. There is not one single individual near that figure. And I think what I should do is to read I'm a judgment. Case has got nothing to do with the Gazette. The case was to prevent Nii Adama Latse'S from being seated at the National House of Chiefs. That was the case. Was to prevent Nii Adama Latse'S from being seated. It's got nothing to do with the government. The Gazette, none whatsoever. But we'll get into it. No need judge and change. Just as Ali Baba no. We'll get into it in what no need a get wrong. No one ni at a high court. Nii Adama Latse'S na je be mi agbene ni at a high court. No one a win na ke te appellate court le nwe na win ni hu. Na the Supreme Court ni Kevin Tagike le hearing. The merits of the case I discuss the Supreme Court. For the people that don't know, you see, I'm in Feo, now I'm in Bolo, and they have the whole PR machinery behind them. Gazette case say Nii Adama Latse'S won at the High Court. Now get a appeal when it was affirmed. Supreme Court now they are dealing with certiorari. Meaning certiorari, a higher court reviewing the judgment or rulings of a lower court. You understand? Meaning you know Kevin Kete a hearing. No, now hearing a judgment should be in default because decision never affected and he was supposed to be given a hearing. That's it. The merits of the case itself, it was not discussed. It was not touched upon. Now, and clearly, you can tell how the government is fabricating no phenomena working. The government of the day through just a phone call can call for the deletion of Adama Latse'S name. You can tell how now manipulating like a ruling there from Justice Ali Baba. You can tell clearly. Let's go on.
But then the question is, if you delete Adama Latse'S today, okay, in the face of all these controversies, okay, tomorrow somebody will hold a press conference and say that I am also Gamanche.
Even if Africa boy,
so the strategy, Kevin because Okusu, I like Africa, I don't know Jay Shopukula, no Bela.
Yeah,
but be not okay.
Kevin Akusu Egbego no lo. Still Egbego.
Akeni esana na Gamanche menyo by law you.
Lord come Kevin Ekusu lelenje Kevin Kla Okusu Egbego na no ogbe na Kevin still Ekusu Egbego na Lord come. Kevin still Kusum na ge yo Gamanche Egbego na olo. Still Kusum ye Egbego na Lord come. Ni oblité.
Yes.
Sani Afo Ekomimi.
Exactly so.
But it's so easy. So that's the plan. It makes it so easy.
It's so, yeah. Yeah.
In the case of Kevin, traditional council
no me a work ya me fe Ghana Traditional Council ni ado to tinto agele gi mastermind there le nye fe se o nche numo obo omodi owo nda
about passing ni equal affair automatic president alo nuku I'm not saying I'm in fear but akebeja ni gbesete no be amana ke majority carries the vote for the gbesete ka fueda I'm going more than chairman for your meeting. Only. I'm a chairman for meeting. Don't thank you, Tinto. O Tinto, I have let you precious me. Only.
Oh, me in Lojoba. Me ake Latse'S no me kwe ni tako tulu eje kwe yin. Sebe takumo fan na kwe ni.
You.
Be na ifan atunwe ni.
Na kan ti sane.
Ne wo minute yo wona.
Minute yo wona. No be ta frache kolake we ube we be farming. Allo kolake ta frache hila famo doyi.
Yeah.
Okay na kan ba. Hila famo jo. No be ken na kan kusun ni salo ba se be se chian mi. Ta ba fe.
Dabi tabanyo fe jone ya no.
Pepe. No waka bolo here ni ta fa se o conscience serve bu right papa no be fan momo ne dumo gbesi anadia ne ba tun ni yo gba mi na gbe na okay alo ba ji oyin je mo yin mo to je mo yin ke to afan gbe ko no ka ga ni nan ko no kwa ni mi twa ke ni mene e ya mo mi ka ke ne fe ni wa o yin ko na me ndai
Lord come Nii Adama Latse'S efe ko bonoko efe ko bonoko Nii Adama Latse'S efe ko bonoko igabo besane ye heko Ubo politics over Ganjo Nijibu. Charlie, some people will rot in hell if indeed there is a place like hell.
Pai, você não filma eu tenho aí. Ayo, que levi ne min twani nke pe o sibi mo. Jeje po be twani ni. Jeje twani ni. Ni wonu ni bi ko me ko yo ni ma wa bia ke na ke no wonu le.
Mama committee. Agbene na ba se ni agbena. Ona mantene ni o council mi amewa mi. Ni tete ko envie agbena agbene nye kesi papa le wo mu. Ni ta pa ni ta wole na kanya fe. Council ba ye manche. E wa le Nungua Mantse. Ita ba ka trasa kan. Chijega kusuna agbadiano tole. Ke lele ni kusuna na afi ni wa afi ni sa. Ke sensi aka buba. Yes, sensi aka buba ba. Oba ne no buba ne abonshi on pa e fama ne wo fe won wi. Nto ame ko mo fe on te ko me dani ba se bi. Ne ka warrior. Any no me via no na ni ma. No mo I'm giving you this information. No I
don't wa ake.
Yes, sir.
Inu bo mi ne ja ke pictures ke yo mo ni ba ke no mo eje ni ke a e sare mo bo o yue mo o na yue mo dan. E wa ngo na wa ake mi ni.
Na kan.
Won wo
Ishi abi on ka me fe ke fe nke Ishi abi no me so o lo to ami no bi anka me yue. My presence in their midst is to have a vital information for you. Ni wa banyo wodu mono. Ni wa banya get before the head. Eke bia me ameno di aya sponge na chegbe national register.
Bia ne ameno di aya expunge la chegbe national register me. The government of the day, through just a phone call, can call for the deletion of Adama Latse'S name. Gazette tele no koni. Gazette tele no problem. The government name. Biana me no ji aje Adama Latse'S ye national register.
No, I'm a hit off. You don't have that point. Come away, Inche. Benny, I will at Awukumi. Benny, I will do blanche in Awukumi. You can me. Ni tete kweni kele di jasi tete kweni kele di jasi tutu musine yake kede beni manche kamanche me pana enu to amese abe kamanche ko don ni de ike na kamanche me tuno duban dani ame to amese dani ewo mene le ache manche me tasi bi nge ba to manche me dana to wote ni ko le ache le ke nyamugi ke Dr. Joe Blanche di kamanche me pana ni Ikametuni. E wonte. Kenya bi etwense. Ni Dr. Joe Blanche etwense neba. Ake gamanche di Dr. Joe Blanche. But teko to be minimum yeta weko mo.
You see. Ora. Numa kwa me sa. You see ka won ja me man dwalo. Look, these people claim to be spiritual fathers. Sana meka nukwale a control. So akwami sa eliake no na afie. He knows very well, yet a condone nake mandra ni bi ene fite a condone akwami sa. He knows that is him saying ke Joe Blanks ye te balete ni te ko tulobi amesa. He know eliaka drama, eliaka bomusu akwami sa knows very well. He knows. I don't know what time I come because I can never do this. Like it will hunt me out. I can never do this. And these people are able to sleep at night. Where?
Mini eko neta wo mo kenyeke Joe Blanche eye manche. So automatically be fene shitame. Ye ya the new ruling house because Joe Blanche bo jase che o kenshi manche pana ni yega. You are going to win your low one.
No anto mabiake wo be Job Kevin abola piami lo teko tuluwe.
So far, okay?
No mito mabiake wo be eto ka ke Kevin abola piami alo teko tuluwe.
The same teko tuluwe.
Wow.
Ona ke ntanu mo sanche in the Jamaica, journalist, be no comment. Okay, it captures women, comments on the room, and it captures our pen drive now, and then calling Athena. So far,
Yo, no more Oiradon. Oiradon.
I'm a Germany or in a jail as a member of the Traditional Council. She better market in a room. Because now I convey meeting. I care what I was a regional minister. Cabinet members happy. Go to a neighborhood of the Lakim. To Trasaco of the Lakim. You want a Caribana care. Oh, if you are Bono to Tado Bonucci, you are pursuing a better patient. Sakmo in by all. In Adumosi, like I'm a farmer by I just want to see what will go on. In London, in Shaggy, I'm a deceiver. The war. You're too long. They have one arcade. He is not legible enough. He back at the Traditional Council members. I can none about him.
Anytime you man will be in Gamma Solimabo. Anytime you man will gamba pale be. In Macbok GFI. I can need to do saki fe, need to do saki New York while I shile me. Okleje e la ashale. Need to do saki. Fe need to do saki. Ne yo o wala shile mi. No ni ole, ke no ni ole. La ajengwe ne shale. Jema wajinye ke la aje. Sisa ke la aje. Do saki fe ni do saki ni yo wala shile mi. Jema wajin ke la aje. Sisa ke la aje. Okleje ani la ajengwe ne shale.
It is simply like you said there.
There will be an edane. Obama will you to Oya Wotesi. Then okay, Wako, sorry. Oh, fine, and me panify. Any to Mungabu Biani. Me and buy a battery in your time. A battery in the Mungabu. Me panify. Me panify. Me panify. In no lima fredo.
What?
No lima fredo. It's one hit. It's one hit. What then you come?
So these are the people. If this is the first time you are listening to this audio, go to my Facebook page or go to my TikTok page. If you have it, the full audio is there. It's a little over 9 minutes long. Be an inch of 5 minutes. Kono but the rest of the 4 minutes said to it. These are the people. Ni amenye gang here. Ke gang poto. Uba biage mine wo gang poto. Dirty people. Shout outs to you, man, Christy. Dirty people. And this guy is supposed to be kusunche. No way fail engbele ne adumo shin. Na fe kusun ye dwe mi. Elebeni shona yo. He could not even care to organize a few boys. Ni any poor me ba fe kusun ye ejem po dwe ni yo je fan low. This guy. Man Christy, o back. So chemekejeme nyani wabotia mi. Ni tumaboni you are one of the few people ni neke gamanchesa ne amekpoto ni enyeji Nii Odaifio Welentse'S. Benoni Nii Odaifio Welentse'S esusun alo ewe aka ke Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette achono. Keye Nii Odaifio Welentse'S edamoshi ni eana ke Kevin Taki show the same beno.
I be the status of God.
Shukme Kevin Taki egbe Gazette. But these people, Mokotumo Nii Odaifio Welentse'S and the likes, they did this for their personal interest. They did it because of the part. In Kabaga, look, Nungua Chemenyo ni yo Nungua. Ame wana Dragamashi. Because Boni Gamashi yo engwamena. Nobani ame show ame karate powers. Na ka ame yehi wale. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Nii Odaifio Welentse'S. For a long while, I don't. But ni we be a work about ma responding. Onupa fe onupa. Betene benyele iyale raw. Bega no ko ba. Bega wo no ko keba. Nta shi keke ni mata no ko dabi. I don't do that. If only Nii Odaifio Welentse'S had continued to be principled. Tumoboni chon ne ani wafe wali ake ye ne bale Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette. He was being principled. They kake mlachu ni ayi anukwale. If only he had held on to the same thing. Maybe. And that should tell you, I can know you a video name if taflache anukwale bemi. Anukwale kokla bemi. He was trying to save face. He was trying to say something for his paymasters. No, you have anukwale bemi. Agbeni Kevin Tagi, ekaboba boy, president Pelemo regional house, Agbeni logica. Yes. That's what Kevin Tagi does. He uses people and dumps them. There will come a time jail. For some of you. You understand what I'm saying? Now, let me play you the video. Ni what bullet way? Koni agbene wojie ni yo se ni nke na kan wojie achombo. Ni wakwake ani no ne yue anukwale ni lo. I don't know. Now, I tried to find the full interview. Koni ma contextualize no ne you ojuba. I could not come up with it. You understand what I'm saying? Once again, I stayed up late trying to find, because so far video jeni na nefe any penna. Sometimes even shorter. If I don't know money I can video do but I chop le bibi. But in here 1 minute, the same interview. In here a little over 2 minutes, the same interview. But so I chop le. So I tried to see I can a full interview. In less than an hour before a boy na GMone. You understand? I have to be very honest with you. I want to do my possible best. In table. But so any boy sani answer mo ye unless Sunday ni obo da talk about Sean Bile. You understand? But let's just deal with this. Nika wakbena wakwake wojie and a supporter no ni ejuolo. You understand what I'm saying? Let's play the video.
So, if you ask me, Mabi Bakashe, na meji many face CD for men amekate national Gazette in. If it is the regional house who does the CD forms of Adama Latse'S and forwarded it to the national house, there's another body, a regional minister, a chief security minister, a regional police commander, a MCE of Ilebi, Noneji. They are all seated. They are saying, they don't know. Okay, this man is the chief. Per their records.
They didn't say that. They never said, Ake Amele Ake Nii Adama Latse'S Manche. That was not what was said at the meeting. That particular meeting, it was referencing. That was not what was said. Of course, Sunday Yenaje Yegamanche Sanye. So the minister can they wanted to know money on record there. You understand what I'm saying? The way ni Israel, if you don't know the background story, I think otherwise. Regional Coordinating Council, meeting. And of course, Kate like a meeting at discuss of the security of the region. You understand what I'm saying? Ni gamanche sanene yacheko wejeme. You understand? So gamanche saneje kweje. They wanted to find out who exactly ji gamanche in records. Shiona geke olene a presenting here to chieftaincy minister ba ne bakage na moji gamanche. Regional minister ba ne biake na moji gamanche. No. Gamanche sanye, of course, is a national security issue. So ke Rexec tashiye a discusso. Ene ke flashes baba imagine chema sanjinje gamanche sanepe imagine chema sanjinje is a national security issue. So Rexec ye benamic I mean you are gamanche sande. They have every right because they want to make sure there is security in the region. I have letter now, a response now, I have it. I will show it to you. Show the way if you don't know the background story, you would think the chieftaincy minister at the time, the regional minister, they were denying Nii Adama Latse'S Mancheni. And it is not true. I have a letter from the chieftaincy minister at the time and the interior minister at the time writing every single ministry New York, Ghana, I may accord Nii Adama Latse'S the necessary courtesies as gamanche. I have that letter. So what he's saying cannot be true. Yes, you heard me. I have a letter from the interior minister, chieftaincy minister at the time, writing to the various ministries and departments, the diplomatic corps. I may accord Nii Adama Latse'S the necessary courtesies as gamanche. I have that letter. In get chombo down. Nliake ba banjo mo mi ebi eswa makule up. She nye odwa de sen can letter chombo down. So what he's saying cannot be true. Ake chieftaincy minister, ake regional minister, it is not true. Context. You need to contextualize everything. What he is saying is not true. Sure, I get I may investigations now. Me baby Sunday war I walk back again, and that is why I was telling my brother, he's new to this gamanche game. I will make videos ne posti ebisani boy you me to no get posti. I can run commentary. In me, I'm a malebo. I'm a malebo. I'm a band. Me name called me so I lose all credibility. Kake video hambu e Sunday. Go if you want to do a good job. KJJ personality kono sumo ni o sumo gan. Go beyond the videos now. Make a ask the necessary questions. And I make a document saying about no candidate. Shika osumo personality ko fegan like the rest of them. That's up to you. So once again, onake ken bakobo what is behind this only, and there is actually a letter to that effect. There is a letter to that effect. You understand what I'm saying? No ani na leje na bu keke na keke mi letter ni na e confirm no nin kobwe no min kenya ke ka kenya no gwe bia ke wolo yellow je no fi no na ba na wolo e hambo ni bi e bi anako wolo e hakoni anako picture e hakoni anako video e hakoni so in way o kemi gbabu e any sake na makebo because ko kenke no kwa atwo wembe bona so we'll get there. That is the first point nim pick up from any. Let's go on.
Acting president, does the onus lie on those who don't know?
Again, acting president, in this case, Nii Saki. Nyebia Nii Odaifio Welentse'S. Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette for me, no money feely. Nii Saki, le no e feely, aloje le feely. Le sign, aloje le sign. The same Nii Saki e chon. Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette, yele no sign. Alo jele sign. Nii Adama Latse'S yawo mo conclone. Ne sign ye Gazette. Alo the acting president sanene you are the same acting president, the same Nii Saki le sign Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette. Yo, nye be a questions. Nye kana ge video hanya ni nye chula keke. Nye be a questions.
To write to the National House to do that inquiries, or we who claims that we send the CD forms to them, we have to write to them. If I were to be the president of the National House, I would let my registrar write back to Greater Accra Regional House that be serious.
Once again, the question and I believe, but it was all over the place. Now what be a follow up.
Be square saponi regional house of chief saying ma will work here national cra.
No.
Oh, she na me ben you know you agree I can make here.
Bauna. You see how dishonesty works? Ona dishonesty. Ona the way they work all. Bona no mean back. Look, it was dishonest. You make a particular interview name me because if any phone, I'm a fit enough any phone. So ona ni obodai ke sani e file ne e bushidin. Ena no ne you. Bona. Let's go.
Name of you.
Some of us will know they can be everybody. The onus lie on who doesn't know to ask. But the person who asks should not go back and ask again. If you do that, it means you don't know your left from your right. Then you can know, Akashi. Some of us will disagree with that. Akashi, if the minister says he doesn't know the status of the gun stool, he should write to the National House. Look, when the Lands Commission, there was a time Lands Commission, they said they don't know the status of the Nungua stool, and for that matter, they cannot deal with me. Sepe Manche, being the acting president of the Traditional Council by then, as at the end of the Bonile course, Sepe Manche said, can be a me in Bawolo. Eke Lands Commission chairman, Akashi, per records, New York Traditional Council by then, King Welentse'S the third is the Nungua Mantse, so they should deal accordingly with me. And then they wrote back to him, Akashi. They are not dealing with the Traditional Council. They are dealing with the APES. So now the two boys say, if you are dealing with the APES, then you know the APES you are talking about. So deal with them. Then they wrote the letter. I have copies here. They wrote the letter to the National House. And the National House told them that this is the Nungua Mantse. Per this extract before they started dealing with me.
It was fair enough. It's any your mom, yes, any square house saying Makea. She need Ibawan Keshan and Makea council and one to know.
It's money Buffett Bononi. I'm a member of the regional house, and at the same time, I am speaking against the regional house. She a dummy. Yeah, a dummy, but in the because, like you rightly said, I expect that.
He was playing politics with King Kadowina. This man right there. Politics. Mene. Yeah. Let's go on. Let's go on.
Takeshi, the truth must prevail. When I wasn't there at the research committee, I wasn't there at the standing committee, I was there at the general house. When it was announced, Akeshi, CD forms coming, yeah, Nii Adama Gazette. And I told them point blank that, look, this Gamacha issue and this CD form, I would have preferred that we drop it. Because issues are going on. We should wait. We should wait. And I told them, look.
So a best steering committee, a best research committee, ni afeno ata na ke the house, a general house and now vote. Eke Gamanche sanye issues ye. No ake Gazette aka transmit get the national na me register. Nye bia Nii Odaifio Welentse'S. Where is that same standard? Ne nye kia Nii Adama Latse'S. Bia mi ne ba Kevin Taki no. Where is that same standard? And ini eba Kelvin Taki. No, at the time, le ye president, the regional House of Chiefs, Agbene. Le baton acting president. He was acting president before. Because no legit vice president, baton acting president. Nye be like a standard there ni a spouse. Yeneke interview name. Ne bale Nii Adama Latse'S saniye. Nomini legit acting president. Biamina ke Kelvin Taki Gazette in paper say ya. Mini jino nefe. And ye dumojeme no. Ake Nii Adama Latse'S no. Neke yue. No ne she Kelvin Taki no. Ma yue na kai no. Le. Nii Odaifio Welentse'S. Nye biyale. These are the people na me nye ganye. Kutumpo. Amale. Abla. Always responding to the highest bidder. Always responding to the highest bidder. Shout out to you, my Emma. My Emma, Ofani boy ojuba. Man Grace, Ofani boy ojuba. I have no problem at all with him saying, "Okay, gamanche sande ayolo at the side iko. Alo sande yehi." Mido Nii Odaifio Welentse'S a whole day the same standard against Kelvin Taki. Minewo. Because gamanche sande aye kolo. A regional House of Chiefs. The same regional House of Chiefs, he was acting president there. The same regional House of Chiefs said, "Biane manchano jilenye." So, mini jina kan, mini wane she Kelvin Taki no, mini wane hold the ground na kano tumoboni kene she Nii Adama Latse'S no nkesane yebi enu akakaya. Ask him why he didn't do that. You understand? Shout out to you, Uncle Charles. You understand what I'm saying? So, ona meneme, ona amalera me malio. Ame jwe a no kwali. Ame dragon. Kutumpo abla ninke. People from Nungua Mantse. Numo babu, Nii Odaifio Welentse'S. Yes. Numo babu jama ho no fe no ye. Na afe gamanche kusumi. Ka to gamanche nungwa kusumi mbemi. Enya. Nungwa be gamanche to mi. Na me fe a bogus so-called committee. Mwenye ya wo neba finalize it. Na kan committee ya ma report there. Le chucho kenye Kelvin Taki se biane. Le je chief of staff. Chucho tumonya agole. No can kebo again na can committee is a bogus committee. Na can wolo ake atiafie. Iwe fon. Jeji ameno na ma wole ni yankose le awo jeji e kan anu mo gbobu. Ni yankose yawo Justice Nii Adama Latse'S ne kala ya anu mo gbobu. Nii Adama Latse'S ye leji Kelvin Taki chief of staff. Nye bia sanji. Nye nsumo gbomo. Feboni nye nsumo gan. Ni every single one of you should bow your head in shame. Mo fe mo no sumo gbomo. Feboni gan yo jibue. It's not bow your head in shame. Nagan committee inke nagan wolu tiafi wolo. Let's go on.
When Kintakitawia has the case before you, as the region, you people came out with a ruling that until the final determination of the case, Kintakitawia is still, use the word still, is still gamanche.
Judgment the status quo should remain until the final determination of the case. You can say it means Joe Blankson eyano ni eye manche she eke agma me is still gamanche agma ko ni emi Joe Blankson is still gamanche agma ko nakai agma ko ye nakai. So what you heard there, another money ebewolomi, he made it up. Nakan rule ni did not say ake Joe Blank to eke agma ewolu is still gamanche agma ko nakai. The status quo should remain until the final determination of the case. Keji regional say Joe Blank is still gamanche, but no about me decide the case more. So once again, no ne you be a J na kaini. nyana nke kake wolo hanye nyana kake video hanye nye bia wolo ni nye kandia yi nye bia wolo ni nye kandia. Let's go on.
Is that not the ruling of this house? So if this house says until the final determination, the man is the chief. Somewhere along the line, you gave another directive that the family should go and sit down and try and resolve this issue and bring one candidate as the chief, you regional house. Now, if there is a CD form from Gatarisa Council to the regional house, the first and foremost thing the regional house, including my good self, we should look at is there any memo from the family that
you see once again you ignorantly you be on purpose. What family is he talking about? Teko chulu be I mean Jumanche yelie. I mean Ju. Eshe kwa ameno. Abola pia mi no eshe. So me family etawo ni memo aje. Memo aje teko chulu we alo eja abola pia mi. Which family? Tenoni je eta ele he knows very well because I may yesani ejemen I may declare ke abola pia mi. Joe Blank said teko chulu we eju. Just like the teko chulu, just like Kevin Taki, I mean Ju manche yelie. So me family yeah, on purpose, yeah, ignorantly on purpose, exactly. It's purposely being ignorant. Meaning what cognitive dissonance. You understand what I'm saying? Cognitive dissonance. That's the phrase for it. Cognitive dissonance. He knows, but they act kind of cognitive dissonance. Me family. Ejabola pia mi we ne shameno legitimately. Allo memoaje teko chuluwe. Me family. What is he talking about? Me family. Gamancha you we ku edwami. Allo shian ye edwami. Allo we edwami. Memoaje ngbe. Memo ebaje. Abola pia mi bi amame nini. So memoaje. Ame nominate am a candidate. Wo jinye ni chon fa ame nominate am a candidate. Mini memo e kwa me ba. Allo teko chuluwe. Mini.
at per your directives, we sat down. These are the minutes. These are the records. And then the acting president should add that memo to the CD form and sign it. Then it means the people have complied with what you said. But without any memo telling you that the family have sat down, they have discussed issue, they have come to a conclusion.
Me family, LA, one point there. Once again, this
or what have you just accepted the CD forms from the traditional council, and you are telling me you want to forward it. I say no, leave it. I told them point blank before God the man that if you send this CD form, the problem will be compounded more than what you are saying today.
Well, Jenia, even at that time, you were against Nii Adama Latse'S. She proceed.
I want the right thing.
So Nii Odaifio Welentse'S insist yaneke video name yake. He wanted the right thing to be done. Nii Odaifio Welentse'S, where was this standard? Nii Adama Latse'S follow and right. I'm all about procedure. I'm all about process. I give it to him. But what changed when it came to Kevin Taki? And we come in tawo. Ni we come ayatashi na me yue na me ge memo aba aka me solve me difference here. And we come in make memo eba. Nii Odaifio Welentse'S ke na ke memo we ni we come tashi na me yu aka me solve me difference here. No one ekpene na transmit Kevin Taki Gazette. Nii Odaifio Welentse'S eje na ke memo e ni wakwe. What changed? Shout out to him, pa. Niaye. Mpa mi bodo mani. Nii Odaifio Welentse'S ne yue ni weku ma atashi e. Weku ne chon aka weku atashi e. Inka abola pia mi biye. Manche no ameno eshe. Teko chulu ebi amen ju. So me weku me tawo na me tashi. weku ne tawo na tashi dan e ba support Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette nye bia Nii Odaifio Welentse'S ake ani na ken weku e bia mi ne pene aka Kevin Taki Gazette ya na ken weku ametashi memu ne tawo na amengma na ken memu amengma ke bahale amengma ka amengma na ken memu e ke ba ejele kponi wokwe gan meni me gagan ekojile e yuene egbe na wa. If what is good for the goose is equally good for the gander, kecho na kecho atete akecho atete nye bia Nii Odaifio Welentse'S ake cho ni no me e can try Nii Adama Latse'S bia me na process and I'm all for it. Can it be sheko? Any be sheko? Meantime, be any machake nabu. I've always said here and say, okay, let's do things right. So, mini chake be amination Kevin Taki no. Except I can know you of a jena kind. Because the CD for me, a chono conclu. Minute soon it check boy original house a chono conclu. But assume ya can know you of a quale. What changed? And the Gamanchesanie, Afe, and the memo ne tawa ni wekume ang makaba, and the wekume, ameng ma memo ekeba, nebi a Nii Odaifio Welentse'S ake, ameng ma memo ekeba lo. Nebi ale. Nii Odaifio Welentse'S, memo no ke wekume ang makaba, ni chwaka me tashia na me yuwa me sanie, Nii Odaifio Welentse'S, ye shiba mi nake memo akeba. Dani agbene okpene na ke Kevin Taki Gazette tie na ke memu ewe kume ngakeba. You cannot be a leader. Ni oba chune ke nuchumu. You cannot. So okay chue chwa Nii Adama Latse'S. Ne she Kevin Taki no le no ke chue wo kotoku eni. Mini watchwe no ke Nii Adama Latse'S ne se Kevin Taki no Nii Odaifio Welentse'S no ke wo kotoku emi mini what changed? What happened? Ame je anu kwale chemeni nye wo yin amale kutumpo abla ame je anu kwale. And that is why we are here anywhere you're near. Now, it's a video, but mini jino ni wajie ke. Wajie, mini jino ni wajie ke. Of course, biami ni about process Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette. There was a letter from lawyer Nii Thompson, ni a represent Nii Tetekwe against Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette process. There was also a letter from lawyer Kome Nkabachombo representing Nii Ajeman, also opposing Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette transmit mo. You are no quality. You understand? Makebo no fear no. I'm pushing an agenda of truth, not to support one individual. Dabi. She opposition let us say now you see, that is the difference between me and Ame. You understand what I'm saying? That is the difference between me and Ame. Ona, they will show you the letter. Ni neke lawyers ne enyo ne ngma against Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette process mo. She ame chobo no nigbe na yese. She mi ema chobo no nigbe na yese. Kono na ole ake Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette na process tomo kokla abeyi. That is the difference between me and me. Ona letter ne ame yeko e. Ame ka ba chon. Na mbaka ake na she na me ma letter say miniji no ni ba yese. They will not tell their audience. They won't. So let's do this. Of course, so me, I will read everything for you. Now, First letter ni makande mahabwe no ne Dr. Eko Daniels and Co. Onani Agma Ejeme. Let me see if I can make it a little more bigger. Right, here you go. Nune. Ona Ejeme. John Chambers, LC Court, 17 Omore Avenue. No na Ejeme. Angmakete, the registrar, GAN, Traditional Council. Dabi, not this one. Ene Biamini Nii Adama Latse'S in Yagan Traditional Council. I don't want to read you this. I want to deal with first of all, they said something really stupid. Something really stupid here. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a candidate. We act as solicitors for Nii Adama Latse'S II, head of Adama Latse'S division of the Paramount Stu Jase, and write on his instructions. Our instructions are that one Mr. Jotaki, who styled himself as Nii Adama Latse'S II, has been endorsed by the Traditional Council as Gamanche. Yemeni you are Nii Adama Latse'S Traditional Council endorse Kevin Taki supporters. I'm a maneke wolune akai. Our client says that with the demise of Nyamugi, the house entitled to nominate, elect, and install a Gamanche is Abola Piam. And Mr. Jotaki does not hail from there. Yes, it kind of know inke wolone nchombwe. Now, this is letter. Ni Kevin Taki will be here. I'm a pusher out there. I'm a pusher out there. Nii Adama Latse'S be I'm fight about I'm pushing out there. Let her make it clear from Nii Adama Latse'S. Shia ni ejameno. Diabola piani. So what is Kelvin Taki doing from Teko Chuluwi? Chebeganyeme. Keji shia ne shameno. I think this is why in adding a letter ne. Keji shia ne. This is a letter from Nii Adama Latse'S. Keji shia ni eshameno. Nii Adama Latse'S ne asu ni ya ototogan ke wonche benye kayo the same Nii Adama Latse'S. So keji Nii Adama Latse'S yuyake eshe abola piami no. What is Kelvin Taki doing from Teko Chuluwi? What is he doing? I was wondering why I added this letter. But so this is another evidence from their own camp stating clearly Manchayelie eshabola piami no nije Teko Chuluwi. So what is Kelvin Taki doing? From their own camp, from Tetekwe's camp, their so-called Jaseche Tetekwe. This is them writing, making it clear on paper. So what is Kelvin Taki doing from Teko Chuluwi? Aju, afe fon, amale, afe kutumpo. Nike wonjue nyek pene. He therefore cannot hold himself out as Gamanche. More so when the dispute over the paramountcy is pending before the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, in addition to the contempt, which is an appeal of the Court of Appeal. It is also pertinent to cite that in the contempt application before I Court, Mr. Jotaki and the others denied that he has been Imali. This one is wrong. Imali, there is nothing. I have that document here. I don't know where. Now, Nii Adama Latse'S deny he has been installed Gamanche. It is not true. I have the documents here. He never said it anywhere in the neither like a lawyer say ever said it anywhere. I can install Kole as Gamanche. This is not true. I don't know any. Our client demands that you cease to recognize or endorse the said Jotaki as Gamanche. We are currently not too keen on signing email before any court of contempt. Imali, once again. Nii Adama Latse'S didn't say that. I have the documents in Kaneko Yaeko unless in here wono. Bankane Nii Adama Latse'S nibi ne egma yeneke case name yake ewe yaeko atokule manche. That is not true. He's playing with words here. Maybe there was something that was said. You understand what I'm saying? Nibo lawyer for it ba chole noko neba eba infair ke bena yuele neke jiboni le nuoshishi. That's their trick. Nii Adama Latse'S didn't say anywhere in the documents that I have in the contempt case. Never anywhere. Now let's go. But no any fit I think about boy. I think I can donate. Kono na can part it now. And then in the meantime, inke chobwe dabi ene tete kwe none je none ni aka gazette ni ya ototoka je none. I think the one that I'm looking for is the one for against Nii Adama Latse'S. Here we go, this one. Now, this was a letter, the same law office, 20th May 2015. The registrar, National House of Chiefs, Kumase, dear sir, RE, petition against the submission of forms to Gazette and register Mr. George Adama Taki, alias Nii Adama Latse'S Gamanche, and a request to dismiss the application. Now, channel. Kevin Taki, it will be a no ne. Nyajiman kese menime yo e kampe ketete kweme ameni le no ne. We act as solicitors of Nii Adama Latse'S II, the head of Nii Taki Komiwi, and of the Adama Latse'S division of the Gun State. Nii Akropon IV, head of Abola Pian, and of the Akropon division of the Gun State, as well as Nii Tetekwe II, the Jaseche, and other accredited heads, elders, and representatives of the Gamparmans to Jase, and have instructions to write this petition. Once again, the fake Jase, no, I'm a representative. Mind you, Jase is in two. There is a whole Jase, the properly constituted Jase. I'm a family Nii Adama Latse'S. This one fake. Fake. Many me come tasha me share thing. Ngega me tasha me share thing. Kata bia ne lenche dwa. Cause mo bia make maybe the last time na me fe Jase meeting. Dr. Tetekwe lenche e ka me fe no go. Kevin Taki be Jase. Get Dr. Tetekwe e ka me fe. The so called Jase che e ka me fe no go. Kevin Taki be Jase. Kona na ngma no ko on a Jase letter e de. Nke me bia make maybe the last time na me fe Jase pe. Just say no. I'm telling you that on authority. Ya bet you ba wini. Inke Dr. Tetekwe ka me fe no. Ebe jase. She just say any on Nii Adama Latse'S. I'm a yolo. I'm a peoda. They meet every week. I'm a peolo. From all the four houses. Let's go on. This petition is another sequel to the earlier one against the submission of chieftaincy declaration forms for registration of George Taki, who is styled as Nii Adama Latse'S Gamanche. 3. Please find attached a petition dated 19 June 2006 against Dr. Joe Blankson as Gamanche. That suit, which was consolidated with others, was finally disposed of by the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs on 2nd February 2015, which advised the Gans to go and do the proper thing. The said ruling of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs was attached to the earlier petition. The question is between 19 June 2006, when George Taki, as the 5th petitioner, sued Dr. Joe Blankson, until 2nd February 2015, when the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs disposed of the matter. When was he installed as Gamanche? For he could not have been installed during the pendency of that petition. In any case, as stated in the earlier petition, the Gamparmans to Jase has not been involved in any installment of George Taki. Once again, he's talking about the fake Jase. The fake Jase, ni amek peko, ni le the last time na me che Jase meeting na me pay. Now, come on. Keji ona Nii Adama Latse'S Jase amek ma letter ole moni sanyo. Ni yaute otogale sanyo. Kona ni letter eje Kevin Taki Jase ngo ole moni sanyo. Joe Beni. Mayu ejame ko no bisani. Look, anukwali ye wo fe wo hie. Ni me ko me ngam wa me himbe. Inka Kevin Taki ebe Jase. The properly constituted Jase. I'm a supporter of Nii Adama Latse'S. And let me say it again, no nushishi. Inke ke Nii Adama Latse'S e Jase. I'm a maleta. Ni yaute otoga as Jase che le sanyo. Kevin Taki. Ke ame maleta Joe Beni le sanyo. We know that the National House of Chiefs, in its deliberations on the chieftaincy declaration form, has a duty to be fair in its administrative functions and would need and will indeed be fair. Let's go on to the next page. Number 6. We pray that nothing would be done that will throw the Gun State into avoidable confusion as is the want. Yours faithfully. And he is signed Nii Akwe Bruce Thompson, one of the finest lawyers Nii Gan has ever had. He's a fine man, lawyer Nii Akwe Bruce Thompson, a very fine gentleman. Now, so on and can habwe. Amen ma nekeletane. But before on and kai noni Nii Odaifio Welentse'S yuenye kpano ni kado ba chon before mba shebie ake ni enu shishino ni chieftaincy minister keni bi letter keni bi na abi keni bi eke gamanche na me ka mele male ayue na kai. Let me read that letter na ge na can request ehabo. What he is saying is not right. Kona gbene maba response ni national be ha to nekeno kone. Let me show you. Document say fa so ke fie boli eko ba ho here but ken kai no is anima ba ni nke. Let me show you that document. It's this one. Now, 29th March 2018. So na ke imba but I want you to the acting registrar, National House of Chiefs, Kumasi. Now, in the energy chieftaincy ministry, Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs. Come on. Status of Gamanche. At the last emergency meeting of the House held on the 16th March 2018, members deliberated on a lot of issues on security, development, and chieftaincy, among others. In Candidate, so you see what I told you earlier about Nash as a security issue here. The Honorable Regional Minister, Regional Minister, Regional Minister, the Chieftaincy Minister, ni ameka amele moniji gamanche. Kwa anoni leta ke. Egbabu anukwali. These people forget I get no fear no wolo ye. No fear no wolo ye. I mean, you are forgetting things are documented. They are hardcore facts. You understand what I'm saying? The Honorable Regional Minister, the Honorable Chieftaincy Minister, Council of State Member for Greater Accra, and the Regional Police Commander were all present at the meeting. Issues relating to the Paramountcy came up, and it was resolved that the House submit to the Regional Minister, the Chieftaincy Minister, the Member of Council of State, and the Regional Commander of Police, the Paramount Chief of the Traditional Area, per available records. You see what I told you about them wanting to know? Monique Bear, your wolomi. Nii Odaifio Welentse'S. No, you have video me Jane Nakaini. Jane Nakaini. Now, the president of the House, Nii Kwe Kinkandowenya the sixth, Nii Odaifio Welentse'S, no me again Nii Kwe Kinkandowenya Egelentra. Osumanche has directed me to inform you of the above and kindly request you to furnish the House with the status of the Paramount Chief for the information of the Honorable Minister, Council of State Member, and the Regional Police Command for necessary action. Please, I count on your usual cooperation in this regard. Thank you. Nado. Ona. So, ona ke no ne yue e mali. Shout out to you. I want Italy. Ima ofa ne mi bodo manye. Ima ofa ne boy ojuba. Bona, ame jwe anukwale. She agwo kamra menye. Neba yue ni etumo ni webi etashi na. No, this letter na man yue. This is the letter. This is the content of the letter. Get shown on your video me. Ni no okwa keken abo background story. Ni makande ene machomwe. Noni Nii Odaifio Welentse'S yue boni onaleke boni onule. Sishinumo no ba na. The same shishinumo no ba na. Tomo boni kane letter ne echomwe. Shona Bone presently. Because like in time, he was responding to the highest bidder. It's a fact. Now, military response na ke ha ye ne ke letter ne ni angmakete nya wokwa eke what response no na ke ha bia me na me market national aka register Nii Adama Latse'S gbe wojin ye beke bi nke kejije individual de nye fio ni nye mfe gan nye bia wojin nya na ke wojin ha anye nye kan ya ni nye le anu kwale de nye ba tashi nye ba hwe nye yiashi. Now response, Nii Akeba from the National House of Chiefs. National House of Chiefs response ene. Over ne kenchon ya fan aboli. Koni manyama face ene inkwe wo bona. Come on. This is from the National House of Chiefs owner. PO Box 416B, Kumasi, Accra, 9th April 2018. Our reference number, dear Registrar, Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, PO Box DD5, Dodowa, RE, status of Gamanche. Your letter number dated is right there, dated 29th March 2018 on the above subject matter refers. The person whose name is in the National Register of Chiefs as Gamanche, Paramount Chief of Gan, is King Nii Adama Latse'S. Into parentheses, George Taki Abia. His name was approved by the National House of Chiefs and recorded in the National Register of Chiefs on 24th April 2015. I attach herewith for your records an extract of the National Register of Chiefs in respect of the Gamanche. Bona. So, noni boni Nii Odaifio Welentse'S present the case. You understand what I'm saying? As if I kept me tashi ni me kefe ke amele. That was not it. There was a discussion about the security of the state. And of course, if any Gamajachema issues your flashes here, and security is very paramount. So now discuss it. They wanted to see on record, Moniji Gamanche, exactly like I told you. And the National House responded. Akashi, Monique Bear, your Gazette, Nii Adama Latse'S. Show a video and I'm about try. Once again, third grade blow for B. I'm a B Sunday. I use swame keke. I use swame. I use swame. Richard, no one blame or Nii Nungua Jiake. Richard, no one blame or Nii Nungua Jiake. Keji Nii Nungua, if the same thing, allow a require the same standard. Me a required from Nii Adama Latse'S. In blame me Nii Nungua. Honor, Richard. No, that is my problem with him, with that particular video. Okay, Nii Adama Latse'S, it's an actual process, no. Ni afe no ojubang. Keshia bi yes saniye. Ameya US saniye. Dani ameba. Perfect. That is what a leader is supposed to do. Bake me nyon pele ni ai. Ni oke mokomie. Le echo neke gbeno. Ni ohamo kome passe. Ni chwake oye anukwale. Richard, I hope you understand my point. Ona boni ni ayo. Yes. Wagamashi biye. Yes. Why a problem? What was standing? What fair way in a kind? She Nii Odaifio Welentse'S by virtue of position at the time as acting president of the Regional House of Chiefs said, he has a say. A party because of Sanji Yehewo Bo over Jien Sumona Kaya. Then you say the same thing to party B. You find it in sound there, your juba. In Agaboko type 0 sound. In sound there, your juba. Class captain, over an sound there, your juba. Ona near. Thank you. Auntie Mary Wallace, over an restart more of feed their own. Class captain can sound there, okay. Bona bonini yo. So, get your cat Nii Adama Latse'S, neke sanjin ye. Ne wo akafe. Neke sanjin asoviko. So, te fiote no more be. Ni Kevin Taki. le eno lo here womi. Ona so continue Nii Odaifio Welentse'S ne yue ne ke Nii Adama Latse'S ye ne sha Kevin Taki no e sha Kevin Taki no enyele na kan pepe nkwe sanebe wo fe wo ba tabie ni wo ba twade wo hale wo ba twade an Nii Odaifio Welentse'S ke he's been just Asia no kwale. But you cannot tell one party to do something different. Ekeke e she other party ekeko chon yi awu afa ekeko yue no ko. And that is my problem with like an interviewer. And of course, like I said, the facts do not necessarily support everything he said in there. He gave the impression that regional chieftaincy, I'm a lemoniji gamanchemi, I'm a Nii Adama. That is not what they said. They were discussing the security issue of the state. And they requested we want to know officially, Nii Odaifio Welentse'S, he didn't say that the video me. He made it look as if I can mofemo kamelele. I'm a Nii Adama Latse'S. That was not. I just read the letter. Then I can hear me. They were discussing the security of the state of the region. Now Meliaki Gamanchesania is a flashpoint. Oh, na boni yo. So anwale. Ona. Now let's go back to the letter ni angma kete regional akete national against Nii Adama Latse'S. No. So nkene chombo. In back everything that I've said, I'm back with evidence. In bekuna. Letter oni angma kete jeme nyani nkechon. It can know about mini response national be. This was also written to the national response. Now let's go. Ofane keji o like ko show bomodeni o like o hami onu ye ishibamli. Now, national response now make a hand. Mind you, nkebwake angma letters enyo. One on behalf of Mina Chole, Dr. Tetekwe, and another one on behalf of Nii Jimankese. Now, national respond to both. Oh, Dabi, and Richard, I'm glad. Maybe you don't know. So I'm a blame my trouble. So, regional House of Chiefs say, mind you, the House of Chiefs say they are a creation of constitution. They are backed by law. You understand? No one Nii Odaifio Welentse'S react. Sane ye kesanjin ye Nii Adama Latse'S no akeka he's actually right. He's backed by law. Now no he's CM Richard is not actually right. Richard ele process procedure. So Richard, I'm a glad in my trouble. Keji a traditional council, right? I may agree on somebody. I can make bomone. So for those of you who follow CM D5F. No, Richard is not actually right. Richard, I'm gonna assume I get Richard late. So let me take the time to actually explain why I didn't get Richard Bell right there. Now, both way. Get traditional council. I'm a presenting Moku. Kete Regional House of Chiefs. I hear me. Regional House of Chiefs say they have something actually a research committee. What is the purpose of the research committee? The research committee is supposed to investigate everything about Moni Akeleba. Ni ame fe he's from the right house. Ameno eshe saneko be here. Manchayeli amoko kele pele here. There is nothing in court against the person and all of that. before I'm about accept. So yes, the regional House of Chiefs has a right to say I can bo. Ni wakwa sani me wana ke sani yoe oje shiana to manchemi so bo wa hebu awo mi. Nike regional House of Chiefs hebu awo mi. National House of Chiefs hebu awo mi. Because before the National House of Chiefs by hebu awo mi, regional House of Chiefs by hebu awo mi first. So yes, keje an individual paramountcy ame to manche. Regional House of Chiefs by he la awo mi. Dia ma me to manche. Shimla etwa me benoni amechon. And that is why there is a research committee for this particular purpose. Kona make issue ake before ni abaye bo awo mi na ke bo ba ya national. Koni 20 Alabama no kokula boy. Kenoko yoye. They are not supposed to send your name to be gazetted. So Richard, you are wrong. The regional House of Chiefs no one mean ke standards ni Nii Odaifio Welentse'S. A preacher can Nii Adama Latse'S. A preach the same standard. Let's assume I can be you of correct me. Except in the case of Nii Adama Latse'S, a research committee, I'm a researcher and I'm a produce a report. I will read it for you. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? But hey. So there was actually a research committee that actually sat down and produced a report to the effect. Actually, everything now me fear moko raise konoko against them. I will read it for you. Don't take my word for it. I have the document. I have it. I will show it to you. You understand? So now let's go on. Once again, one of the finest lawyers. I have a great deal of respect for lawyer Nii Bruce Thompson. One of the finest legal brains Ghana is a retired RE petition against the submission of forms of Gazette and Register of Mr. George Adama Latse'S Gazette and a request to dismiss the application. I'm directed by the president. So letani in Kani Abuna Market National Aka Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette I will response ni national be money. I'm directed by the President of the National House of Chiefs to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 20th May 2015 on the above subject matter and to inform you that same is receiving attention. First one. So Ene Angma from Ene. Let's go to the next one. The second one, Leoni Angma, on behalf of so letter say Angma one on behalf of Nii Tetekwe, the other one Nii Ajimankese, the same response. Now both letters say now military attachment now make a fit after Nii Amegbena. This is just to reform the market. It's been received. Now our channel. Now response Nije national. Kabane. Come on. Petition against the submission of forms to Gazette and Register of Mr. George Taki alias Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette and a request to dismiss the application. The Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs received your letter with reference number N8 21st on the above subject matter. The issue was discussed at a research committee meeting held on the 27th day of May 2015 at the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, Dodowa, and the committee decided that the name Nii Adama Latse'S II be entered into the National Register of Chiefs based on the following reasons. That one, nobody objected or petitions. Nobody objected or petitioned against the installation of Nii Adama Latse'S II on the 11th of June 2011. Nobody or institution raised any issue against Nii Adama Latse'S II when he took over the Gamanche Palace from Dr. Joe Blankson in the capacity as Gamanche. 3. As at the time the chieftaincy declaration forms in respect of Nii Adama Latse'S was forwarded to the National House of Chiefs, there was no case or appeal pending before the Judicial Committee of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs or any other court. So C, CM, get Richard on a point say ni how say a responded. Third point, I'm a candidate macho bojuba. As at the time, the chieftaincy declaration forms in respect of Nii Adama Latse'S was forwarded to the National House of Chiefs. There was no case or appeal pending before the Judicial Committee of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs or any other court. So if there were cases, that is what the research committee does. They have to look into your case. There are court cases or nibi against the boy. They don't have to process your CD forms. They don't. But here they are telling you, okay, when it comes to Nii Adama Latse'S, at the time I'm in process form, say there was no case, none whatsoever, no case. There was no case either in front of the Judicial Committee of the Regional House of Chiefs or any other courts for that matter. No case. You understand? So bio yake noni ikane abone kanoni onu Nii Odaifio Welentse'S wie juxtapose mwenyo no kwa kanoni Nii Odaifio Welentse'S wie kanoni yo wolo no pan agbe lo ona ge kele pan agbe. I'm therefore directed by the President of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs to inform you of the decision of the House that the name Nii Adama Latse'S should be entered into the National Register of Chiefs. So what you can see, Jake, Ni National receive petition there. Bona, Ni National receive petition there. I mean, about regional petition ni wa receive against Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette ne. Mini chino ni nye call ye. Bonus ni Regional House of Chiefs say ma nekeleta ke national. Ake na ken petition there nega fuani because what regional no ni what chue ye Gazette ye no jin ene. Now let me show you the next document when we no ni no umba. Now, so olenoni regional BFA BNFA na kan ame adi I'm a research committee a meeting na ame fair bona ni ame approve ake Nii Adama Latse'S be aya ame adi na kan minutes ke fit a response na ame kan national BA na ame kan national BA ke BA na ame no kla be Nii Adama Latse'S here ame kan wolu egbe. So once again ka bomi tuwe ona mi enkenke wolo tuoni no ni wolu eke no nkba tuni ke ona na efi obu ake o menele team Nii Adama Latse'S ene me ni na de kan yo. I read this. I actually take my time to read these documents. Ona so if ekome yemi ona ken kebu ake ka me ba kan a petition pe no ni be a petition. They will not tell you what came after the petition. And me when I can a petition habo me chombo no ni after petition no ni uba. You understand what I'm saying? So look, these people I'm a yega anukwale bona before ni machano ofane nya wabua enetwe ekon egemba eke imba chano ni makande ni wakwe ake ni research committee fe ame ni na ame discuss Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette mini chino ni jepo ye no kwa ke no Nii Odaifio Welentse'S wie anukwale ni lo ni after no we oli ake ni akpene enwe ni tetekwe a file lawsuit against Nii Adama Latse'S ole nke no mba achongo no kwa ke na kelo so what forget regional house kama jina cheme fe na ame ye anukwale ni ame fe ame ntwa game ni ake Gazette sanete akete court ni tetekwe a file case against Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette here mini jino ni judge ke nke no mba achongo. These people nke ame you anukwale amale lo so manjalo. I will show no I say a few it's about 11 pages of actually bambano again work me no. So ofane bo ene to me 1 second before ni makande wolo ne mahabo ni twa numa kwa minsa audio insha ego ni wa ona awatwa ani watwa doni chase mahabo ofane jani femo kenamoko ni leun ekiamoko ye ishibamli And Richard, thank you for staying around. Thank you. I'm just hoping you came in good theatricality. What's the word? Bona, because Richard, Konani, we be me come ba na me ba feel rough. Bona. So Konani chat session if heart. They want to make sure you are not one of those people. Oh, no, Richard. Richard. Konani chat session hot. They want to make sure you are not one of those people. People come here and I'm about actor a fool. Bona. I mean me I'm a trinshini. Wobaka ne wojia eha meni. Amen na sanjia amli ojogba. So over ne no. But if you are really here and you mean it ojogba ake ota no kwaliele, I'm telling you ake o right place.
No ni mafia ke. It's one. It's one. What then you come here? What fe wo go mo wa kontu. You can tell la fe la mi keke ni gajo. No ne be akaba keke ni ya wo ni. Bona fe ni e be papa mi am kwa le ni e je ko ni o ke sa aga. Mo ke wo ni e pe me man ko ma se. Bona fe no ko awda wo. Ni wo to ga wo ji no le ni pa fai. Papa fai. Nti won pa se ni je bo lu. Government in power indicate a hagami. Only when you want Mambi, if the voice of the masses is the voice of God, the voice of the masses is the voice of God. Menkobe banami come after demonstration. Not to dissolve the traditional council and other relevant institutions and personalities coming. In time market with the COVID-19
Amengbe anukwari.
Wala nyame. Wa memme take somona ni nyanye amona na lift neke bano social gathering ke ni demo. Yele indanu ko ni make. Si mambini ama fa megbe am. Ni tabu fa ba tuni dumo ka ya fo no nyen. Ya ke
me wonder ke me yi gbese no okonye me atashi ni pe mimini te aya ke te si so be no yu akenya ka ke regional minister ya pe keni ni e abare na ka
so chameganyeme imba nye yana walada. Now Minijinoni Research Committee here, now Tashi and Nii Adama Latse'S Sunday here. What did they do? This is the report. The meeting in a fit I can national be any amena. Nyani waboti ami ni wakwa no nake. Nicholas, yeah. Numo ipa naka we be ave you anu kwale. Now, Research Committee nyekwa mi kande mi abo of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, though they were held on the 27th of May 2015 at the Gaggisberg Memorial Hall. Though they were members present. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger. Okay. But more, right? Good. More. Shout outs to you, Evelyn King. Members present. Nii Kobi Tetechu, Chairman. La Manche, I believe. Nii Tete Otu the second member, Bo Manche. Nii Okwe Kinka Dowinya, member, Osu Manche. Nene Kano Atiapa, the third, I believe, Nena Atiapa, Geleji, Atogangpa, Nena Atiapa, Ofaneleji, Pampram Mankra Luona. Atogangpa, Ofaneni, O correct me, Kajeleni, Nena Atiapa, Leji, Pampram Mankralo at the time, I believe. Absent, Nene Abraham Kabu, Akwaku the third, ex-official member. In attendance, Mr. Aweso Dela Dixon, research officer. So they actually have a research officer. No means to make sure I get everything about you done about forward. Mr. Samuel Clayson, counsel. Bridget Elom Adoko, senior I don't know whatever, registrar. I don't know what that TC is for. Item 1, opening prayer. The meeting started at 12:53 after an opening prayer was said by Nene Kano Atiapa the third, Nungua Mantse. Yes, so in Pram Nungua. Item 2, chairman's remark. The chairman of the research committee, Nii Tetechulu the third, La Manche, thanked all members for attending the meeting. He said that this meeting has become very necessary because the House has received some petitions from the National House of Chiefs, and the president of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs has directed the research committee to respond to the petitions and report to the House in their next research committee, in their next meeting. He pleaded with members to contribute effectively so that they would be able to respond to the issues appropriately. Let's go on. Next page. Item 3, reading of previous minutes. The research officer, Mr. Aweso Dela Dixon, read to members present the minutes of the previous research committee meeting. Item 4, confirmation of previous minutes. Nene Kano Atiapa moved that the minutes of the previous meeting be adopted as the true reflection of the business carried at the meeting, and was seconded by Nii Tete Otu II. Item 3, correspondence. Now, a letter titled RE petitioned against the cancellation of the name Nii Adama Latse'S IV from the National Register of Chiefs was read to members present. The research officer told members that Nii Adama IV petitioned the National House of Chiefs and the Regional House of Chiefs against the registration of Nii Adama Latse'S IV and demanded that the name should be expunged from the National Register of Chiefs. He claimed that he is the chief of Anumansan Division and not Nii Adama Latse'S IV. Nagangbomo bi ane choi ege English alatamanche Leona Prince Le. He supported his claim with a series of documents which include court judgments and affidavits. The research officer highlighted some of the documents the House received from Nii Adama IV. When information reached Nii Adama IV that the chieftaincy declaration forms in respect of Nii Adama Latse'S IV was being processed by English Alata Traditional Council, he wrote to the Traditional Council through his lawyers to stop the registration. The Traditional Council responded that they do not know him because they do not have any record of Nii Adama IV at their registry. Prince Lene. Attached is the letter and response as Appendix 1. Noji Noni Onaye Bie. In a case with suit number the Republic versus Prince William Ashraku Brusque, ex parte, Gideon Kwekuma Kwe, Emmanuel Kwekuma Otu, John Akushi Achampon, presided by his lordship Kwesi Dapa, Nii Adama Latse'S, argued that there has never been chief of Anumansan since time immemorial, but rather heads of family. But his lordship Kwesi Dapa J, in a judgment dated 22nd December 2010, rather found that Minkanefe Habukono na the whole thing now. So yes, in English is an, but I want you to see everything. But after a long discussion, the committee decided that the name should be entered into the National Register of Chiefs based on the following reasons. Oh, that be inte here. That be inte here. There is one before this one. Me inte 5. That be me missy 3 ke 4. Koni ona 1. That be nyam 1 second. 6. Okay, this is 6. Nyam about say. I need 3 and 4. That be Jane on it. Nyam 1 second. Nyam 1 second. Can send it here. Must keep it here. What page is this? This is page 3. Yep, here we go. That be any still a 3 are you Kwekuma Chunshi. So let me forget about 3. Let me look for 4. Bona, I no any hour. Time me one. Let me matawa 4. New channel. Let me look for 4. Nyam 1 second. This is 5, 3, 6. Where is 4? Oh, you find it. I'm missing page 4. So Buama can 5 we get no sendi ko me fema get ni minya wojia no eba but no research committee ye gamanche no ni nye boatui nye keke abi min paje fai if you like ni mean select document say skip page 4 nikoni ona no discussion and amefe ye gamanche no shout out to you anti magi osu yo papa now nya what can you e get come. After a long discussion, the committee decided that the name should be entered into the National Register of Chiefs based on the following reasons. One, this was from the research committee. So response said I'm a marketing national. I'm a what exactly? Noni I'm a research committee. I'm a finder. I'm a what dito. Now they just copied everything from the research committee. Now I'm a pasty. Your response said I'm a Bona. So this is research committee documents and it means page 4. But the issue of Nii Adama Latse'S was raised. I'm a discusser. No, they discuss about the petition. One, nobody objected or petitioned against the installation of Nii Adama Latse'S II on the 11th of June 2011. 2, nobody or institution raised any issue against Nii Adama Latse'S II when he took over the Gamanche Palace from Dr. Joe Blankson in the capacity as Gamanche. 3, as at the time the chieftaincy declaration forms in respect of Nii Adama Latse'S the second was forwarded to the National House of Chiefs, there was no case or appeal pending before the Judicial Committee of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs or any other court, and that if any persons have any issue against the entry of the name, the fellow could go to the appropriate forum to seek redress. But the research officer told members that there are instances where when chieftaincy declaration forms are submitted to the House and either the president or the traditional council registrar comes to withdraw some of the declaration forms, so he suggested to members to present that a letter should be written to the traditional council to inform them that when they submit chieftaincy declaration forms, they can only withdraw any city forms with the same process they use. The council for the La Manche raised an issue about the chief of La Nquantanan that he was not aware of the registration of the said chief. The research officer told members that the CD forms came from the traditional council. Because La did not have a traditional council then, the research officer was asked to go to the traditional council and find out whether the CD forms of the chief of La Nquantanan was processed from the traditional council. So on a research committee, and I'm a tashier, on a Sanjina, Gamanche Sunday, English Sunday, last Sunday. And this was the response. I'm a discuss. Number 4, I should have found that number 4. Number 4. This is number 6. La Manche raised the permission by the Queen Mother Association to use the Gettysburg Hall for their meetings. The permission letter was read by the research committee. Then the Colonel Tiapik said that the issue was discussed at the last general meeting of the House, and the decision was that the Gettysburg Hall will not be given to them for their meetings. So there is nothing to discuss about it. Nii Tetechulu suggested that they should give them other alternatives, which is the Shai Traditional Council. Then the third said that the committee cannot give any alternative, but should be told. So I'm reading them and saying, no, now there was a thorough investigation done by the research committee. A thorough investigation done by the research committee. And you know what they did? Come on, process for gazetting by National House of Chiefs, both way. And by purposes of a derby. We'll do this later. Time you will. I want to read in Gabagana Akpene court. I want to show you that one too. So in here for now. Now, remember. This is form Nii Akete. CD form say Nii Afili na Akete Dodowa. Koni a Gazette Nii Adama Latse'S. No ne. Come in. Nii Adama Latse'S CD form saying no ne. Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs Dodowa report under Section 62 of the Chieftaincy Act, Section 1 to register Greater Accra no ne. Name of Chief Boni Nii Amugi the second. Title of Chief Gamanche. Status category category of chief, paramount chief, name, /village, Accra, name of traditional area, traditional area, nature of change, death, state number, and date of local government bulletin in which the chief was gazetted, went and stood and skinned, or serial number in national register. So, no name of chiefs, 16th March 1983, number 568. In case of distillment, have changes been served on the chief? Not applicable. Is there any appeal / pending on the case? No. The traditional council, I'm feeling the case. Nii Dodu Nsaki. So from the regional, the traditional council need CD forms. I'm informed regional be there is no appeal or any case against Nii Adama Latse'S. Now, date of change 10/12/2004. Date of report 13th November 2013. Person making report, acting president, Traditional Council, Nii Dodu Nsaki, title and stamp, signature. Now we are the next one. Installment form. From 1B, 1A, do you know 1B, stool name, King Nii Adama Latse'S II. Former name of chief, George Taki Abia. Title of chief, Gamanche. Status / category of chief, paramount chief. Town / village, Accra. Name of traditional area, Gan, traditional area. Name of division, Abola Piam. Date of change, 11th June 2011. Botueko from Nii Dodu Nsaki. Botueko. Is there any case pending against the installation? No. Is there any case pending against the installation? No. So this is what the regional house took from the traditional council. Nii Dodu Nsaki, Lesign. And this was the same man fighting against Nii Adama Latse'S. You see how dubious this man, Nii Dodu Nsaki, is. He responds to the ISB that no me nye ne shika. Muni ba le shika leke ya. This man. Because now fe ni amugi yala ameno Nii Dodu Nsaki and the likes. Ngeka batabia de ni amugi yala buku akuntai. The so-called traditional council be no kabatabia ne. Nyamugi yala bugu akunta. Shika na ke ba finga traditional council ame yefe. No na me fe gamanye fake yala. Leun na me yeshika gan traditional council. Man jaloy na kan jemele ojo to atun. Sana wona chafu. Is there any case pending against the installation? No. Is the office a new creation? No. If no, is the chief in possession of the stool / skin property, including the black stool / ancestral skin? Yes. If no, why is the chief not in possession of the stool / skin property? Not applicable. Date of report, 13th November 2013. Once again, signed Nii Dodu Nsaki. So regional house said, "Noni, I'm a research committee FA. Now me kage noko be Nii Adama Latse'S here. I'm a Malay." This was the report from the Traditional Council, signed by Nii Dodu Nsaki, acting president at the time. You understand what I'm saying? Now, after me say, ni angmawolu eke no fair no say, ni regional respond to national, ni national respond to the lawyer sake, regional be ameke wake Nii Adama Latse'S noko be ye, amekpene. I may afford you need that signature. Ni ama sue against Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette. Miriji no nite no. Ani makane no mabu. Ni waka wani femu afemini. Abana be. Any face say petition say can be an amengman can be a fair. Ne work here. They didn't stop there. They went to court. Yakumasi. Nama file a lawsuit. Nyani wakwa. No nite no. Then I can lawsuit me. So onake noni ni nungwa yue je anukwaleni. everything documented can be a fan in Kebu FN track. Sunny any Nii Nungua ye eke Nii Oboda interview me je anukwale egba. These are documents from the regional House of Chiefs where he is president now. Over like mo show am yonu Jani Femo Kiamoko ni mo wamo. Shout out to you, man Rosemond. Man Rosemond over the boy ojuba. Anin kenaga no one chombo. So in Kenya I'm enemy fan I'm a fe. Ne nyot oba ingo Gazette and the keba because so no Gazette ni Kenya ba fe Gazette nka ke document akaya in chombo sani ene baba chieftaincy minister ka me le fe amale ni je nakani. The way he told it, it's not right. The research committee, I'm a find this now, I'm a fake committee. Everything. That's what I'm missing the page 4. I'll look for it. I don't know why. I'll need me select in the skip, I'll come and no go music or no go. Nobody stood up against it. They agreed that they've done a thorough job. They've checked everything. They've dotted their I's and crossed their T's. Everything. There was nothing negative. I've read it. Now me face ni ame te court Justice Wilson. Ene obana ni tete kwe signature no. She afford your signature. Your Gazette is an no. So this should tell you okay. Can Lord come the government of the day through just a phone call can call for the deletion of Adama Latse'S name. You should know, okay, it was really done. It was the government of the day that caused Adama Latse'S name to be deleted. Ni Justice Ali Baba, Judge Ali Baba, a judgment uni National House domono. Na ke Nii Adama Latse'S be me. Mene was say chomo wa fe 2 hours. Mama kande no umabo. No kwake and you explicitly ake Nii Adama Latse'S be ye Gazette me lo. Justice Ali Baba never said that. He never said, okay, I expunged Nii Adama Latse'S me. And the case now was not even against the Gazette. It was against the National House of Chiefs sitting Nii Adama Latse'S. Because mind you, regional house says select or may 5. Now my represent or region national, the president and the vice and 3 other members. So Nii Adama Latse'S happened to be part of the 3 members. I'm a selector. You understand? So ni tetekweme na ake show Nii Adama Latse'S efita meyete ni regional house vote ni amefita president take a vice say now I represent Greater Accra ye national ni ame file lawsuit kona compel national now make a seat in Nii Adama Latse'S. Ameka pwe ya aka yuega. It was not even the Gazette. The lawsuit because they've already lost on the Gazette issue. No matter but they've already lost. So when they went for the second time, and they went against Nii Adama Latse'S being seated. You're national, and I may rely on that particular ruling. Now make an expunge Nii Adama Latse'S be me. Nije expunction ni akete. I will read it for you. Don't take my word for it. I have the judgment. I will show it to you. Now what can you any? Now. On the 31st day of May 2016, before his lordship, Justice C.A. Wilson, in the High Court, held at Kumasi, Beuna. Now, in the matter of judicial review and in the matter of application for order of mandamus, the Republic versus National House of Chiefs, Menshia Kumasi, ex parte, Dr. Nii Tetekwe II, applicant, George Abia Taki Adama Latse'S, interested, James Afrifa for applicant, Ernestina Abrahams for respondent, Adumwa Bosma for the interested party. Bona. So Tetekwe amete ni ama file lawsuit against National. Aka make a seat in Nii Adama Latse'S. Ona Nii Adama Latse'S ne enu ye mi nefe ne are joined as an interested party. And this is where I completely disagree with the Supreme Court. Kevin Taki hearing it. Kevin Taki, as he had every opportunity to have joined the case. Nobody would have stopped him. Kevin Taki knew. Akashi, no fair, no decision, fair decision now about take you, maybe affect it. Just like Nii Adama Latse'S knew. Ake case nena ake tie ba affect it. So he joined as an interested party and it was allowed. And the Supreme Court, they know this. I'm a lay. Let's go on. Ruling/judgment. The background. Sanimani nyam 1 second mande bashifio koni na fe kwe. Inbe in zoom ni yo. Hey. Okay, I think it's here. Here we go. Now, the petitioner/applicant, Dr. Nii Odaifio, challenged an administrative decision of the respondent, the National House of Chiefs. A brief history of the events giving rise to the challenge is as follows. Once again, Nii Odaifio any a forge a signature. Dr. Nii Odaifio, Kevin Taki will be a forge a signature. Nigga lawsuit name. I'm telling you that on fact. On authority. I'm a forge a signature in a case, but they lost. They lost. Once again, against the same Gazette. Let's go on. In June 2006, the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs began to adjudicate a chieftaincy dispute. The dispute involved succession to the late Gamanche Nii II. The adjudicating process became startified when the installed chief, Dr. Joe Blankson, suddenly passed away. The petitioner/applicant alleged that on the 11th of June 2011, the interested party, George Taki Abia, styling himself as Nii Taki Adama, forcibly broke into the gun stool room and declared himself the Gamanche. Once again, nobody broke into any stool room. If you have not seen the video, it's on my channel. Go to my TikTok page. Go to my Facebook page. You will find it there. Nobody broke into any stool room. This was fabricated. And it's a talking point. It's a made-up, fake talking point these guys put out there. It is not true. According to the applicant, the interested party, aided by politicians and other well-placed and influential persons, managed to be gazetted, even though at the time of his alleged gazetting, there were legal proceedings over the paramountcy and the purported nomination and installment of the Gamanche pending before the Judicial Committee of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs. Once again, this is not true. You heard me read the Gazette, the CD forms, and the research findings of the Regional House of Chiefs, which stated categorically there were no pending cases. Yeah, I mean here, any other courts. So once again, this is a lie. It is not true. You see how these people, now let's go on. The applicants claim further that the interested party connived with officials of the Regional House of Chiefs who prematurely addressed a letter, Exhibit L, to the National House of Chiefs indicating that he is the Gamanche king. The application. It is the applicant's case that several petitions, Exhibit L and Q, to the House of Chiefs aiming to address the issue has been ignored, thus enabling the interested party, Adama Latse'S, to hold and carry himself out as the installed Gamanche. Aggrieved by the purported entry of the name Taki Adama Latse'S II into the register of the National House of Chiefs, the applicant filed a writ of mandamus to compel and order the registrar of the National House of Chiefs to delete and vacate the Gazette bulletin entered in favor of the second respondent, Adama Latse'S II. Pending before this court are legal briefs filed by the parties and a large volume of further documentation. So Gazette, yes, and Gazette, yes, and they lost. No ni ona keboko kebuake ake Gazette is an ni wana amale in no it's about sitting. Gazette, yes, and na me challenge here, they lost. Nii Adama Latse'S won that Gazette case. Come on. I hold that the respondents were right in approaching the court for mandamus for wherever there is a danger or threat that an interest, whether proprietary or otherwise, will be prejudiced or unlawfully interfered with, mandamus will lie. Even where there is an alternative process, it is not an inflexible rule that a statutory procedure should so laid down must necessarily be followed. Continuing his submission, Mr. Afrifa referred to the the Republic versus Chief Lands Officer, ex parte, Alote and others. And others. And others. 1982-83 Ghana Law Report, holding 1. Intem versus Akwanda, 1977, number 2 Ghana Law Report 452 at 459. In the former case, the relevant portion of the judgment, learned counsel argues, is set out as follows. The writ of mandamus was a very wide remedy which should avail anyone showing that he had sufficient interest to be protected and that there was no other remedy, since the applicant in the instant application was the grantor who had executed the documents and had a duty to defend the little conveyed by those documents. He had sufficient interest in seeing to it that all was done to give perfect document to his vendees. If those documents had been refused or delayed for registration, Mr. Afrifa noted that it is oftenly claimed erroneously that an application of the instant nature is a cause or matter affecting chieftaincy over which the High Court had no jurisdiction. Learned counsel contends that in R.E. Ogwa Paramount 2 Gadra and others versus Central Regional House of Chiefs 2005 to 2006 Supreme Court Ghana Law Report 193 holding 5. The Supreme Court addressed the situation where the plaintiff institute an action in circumstances such as the case before the court. The court said, even though the appellants complain regarding the propriety of the transmission of the chieftaincy declaration forms by the Central Regional House of Chiefs to the National House of Chiefs to the insertion of the second respondent name in the National Register of Chiefs related to a chief and bore upon the formalities for the public acknowledgement of a chief, it did not constitute a cause or matter affecting chieftaincy within the meaning of Section 66 of Act 370. The reason being that it did not raise an actual challenge to the nomination, election, appointment, or installation of a person as a chief or his or her bestowment of the right of participation in such decision-making or ceremony. Learned counsel relied upon decisions such as Republic versus High Court, Denu, ex parte, Avadali the Fourth, to the effect that entries made in or deletion from the National Register of the House of Chiefs do not constitute a cause or matter affecting chieftaincy. So I don't know why. You see why Kevin Takime, they lost every bit of the way when they were challenging Neke Gazette in Sandine, claiming it was a matter affecting chieftaincy and that the High Court had no jurisdiction, and they lost because it has been settled. Neke case is never in Kebwake. When it comes to documentation, the gazetting and administrative work, it does not necessarily affect chieftaincy. You understand what I'm saying? It does not constitute a matter or cause affecting chieftaincy, and that is why I may lose like a jurisdictional point and I may raise case any have been a Supreme Court rule no me rule here. Now, Mr. Afrifa concludes that the applicant is entitled to the remedy sought because the challenge to the installation of the interested party has been de facto reopened. The respondent's submissions. Learned counsel for the respondent, National House of Chiefs, takes position that the motion be dismissed and makes the following arguments in support. That the applicant acknowledged in his assertion issues that the interested party has been purportedly been installed by Yaute Otokan II as Gamanche. Counsel submitted that the respondents in the applicant's affidavit are matters going into the root of chieftaincy. The respondent argues that by the relevant legislative provisions of chieftaincy, Section 57 of the Courts Act 1993, Act 459, and Section 76, subsection AC of the Chieftaincy Act 2008, Act 759, the court has no power or jurisdiction to entertain same and prays that application should be dismissed elimni. Okay, that's a new legal term. Next, Boni Emino. Further counsel submits in Ari Ogwa Paramount Stool to it was held that where a person had already been installed as a chief, he had a statutory right to have his name registered in the National Register of Chiefs unless there had been some demonstrable legal impediment against the registration as a chief. Thus, the party seeking to resist the registration must show a legal impediment to justify non-registration. Mrs. Ernestina Abraham recognizes that the applicant's principal argument on the application to this court had regard to the legal obstacles or impediments in the path of the interested party. She submitted at the time the interested party was registered with the National House of Chiefs. There was no suit or case pending. This is the lawyer for the National House of Chiefs speaking now. Again, Mrs. Ernestina Abraham recognizes that the applicant's principal argument on the application to this court had regard to the legal obstacles or impediments in the path of the interested party. She submitted that at the time the interested party was registered with the National House of Chiefs, there was no suit or case pending. The National House of Chiefs say, once again, Gazette problem. The government of the day, through just a phone call, can cause the deletion of Adama Latse'S name. The same National House of Chiefs. This is the National House of Chiefs defending Nii Adama Latse'S name in the Gazette, in the register. This is them defending. There was no case pending against the interested party regarding his status at the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs or at the High Court, constituting a bar to be respondent. So to the response. So I'm a National House of Chiefs. I'm a registered Nii Adama Latse'S. This is them. Look, this is the National House of Chiefs saying I can be a register case Kokla Regional House against Nii Adama Latse'S. Agbenenwe case Kokla court to Kokla National House of Chiefs. You are I'm a lawyer. You are. Let's go on. Learned counsel submitted that the only chieftaincy matter involving the interested party had been disposed of on 2nd February 2015, whilst the entry onto the register of the House of Chiefs was done on 24th April 2015. The learned counsel contended that it is a matter of significance to the application to know that the alleged proceedings at the High Court were commenced after the entry had been made. So case said ni quote and unquote ni tete kwemete kete ake cases here against the government issue. National Register be National House of Chiefs lawyer and kake leke cases ne friend na mechon ake eba no me what register Nii Adama Latse'S omo Daniel meke cases neba. She be amini what register Nii Adama Latse'S case Kokla be Regional House of Chiefs against delay. Agbene ukejo kwe various courts New York Ghana case Kokla Benjamin against it. No Nii Odaifio Welentse'S mini you ona nukwali na ye. Let's go on. Council concluded that the duty of the National House of Chiefs in the registration process is purely administrative and not judicial. Council argued that the respondent merely carried out its administrative duties in the proper exercise of its responsibilities. The factors and principles set out in the decisions of Abachombo cases ni Akweno ni Akeyue na Kansanie. Finally, counsel laid stress on the fact that even if the interested party has been gazetted, the applicant's grievances could as well be addressed by instituting legal proceedings at the appropriate forum. Counsel referred to if the applicant's chieftaincy petition succeeded later, whatever had been entered in the register by the National House of Chiefs will be undone by the National House of Chiefs pursuant to its power under the Chieftaincy Act. The interested party's submission. Nii Adama Latse'S lawyer no only we a case in. Learned counsel for the interested party resisted the plaintiff's claim and argued that the challenge to the installations of the interested party as Gamanche, and for that matter, entry into the register of House of Chiefs is legally flawed because the challenge came well over 6 months following the installation of the interested party. Therefore, there can be no tenable challenge to the registration of Nii Adama Latse'S II in the National Register of the House of Chiefs. I think I can type of you. Regarding the issues of nomination, Mr. Aduma Bosman submit that no vested rights arise only Tetekwe family to nominate an heir to Gastool, but rather the 4 ruling houses are eligible in rotational sequence in the line of succession to provide for a just and orderly accession to the Gastool. Learned counsel pointed out that the applicant is not the Gajaseche. Further, the 4 years delay constitutes laches and acquiescence too late to block the insertion of the interested party's name into the register of House of Chiefs. The applicable legislation. It is axiomatic that a court must begin every legal analysis of a chieftaincy dispute by examining the primary sources of law reflected in the statutory provisions of chieftaincy. So, once again, you see another holding right there. Let me speed it up. It is subject to the provisions of the Constitution, the Court of Appeal, the High Court, the Regional Tribunal, the Circuit and Community Tribunal shall have no jurisdiction to entertain either at first instance an appeal or any cause or matter affecting chieftaincy. Act 370 defines causes or matters affecting chieftaincy as follows. A. The nomination, election, appointment, or installation of any person as a chief, or the claim of any person to be nominated, elected, appointed, or installed as a chief. B. The bestowment or abdication of any chief. C. The right of any person to take part in the nomination, election, appointment, or installation of any person as a chief, or in the bestowment of any chief. D. The recovery or delivery or stool property in connection with any such nomination, election, appointment, installation, bestowment, or abdication. E. The installational relations and the customary law between chiefs. C. Also, you see the holding over there. Now, only the Supreme Court and not the courts below as appellate jurisdiction over chieftaincy matters. Though an applicant could challenge the decision of powers conferred on the judicial committees of the House of Chiefs and the traditional council jurisdiction in any cause or matter affecting chieftaincy. Another holding, General Court here. The High Court shall have supervisory jurisdiction of the lower courts and lower adjudicating authority, and may, in the exercise of that jurisdiction, issue orders and directions, including orders in the nature of habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, and quo warranto for the purpose of enforcing or securing the enforcement of its supervisory powers. See also, under the High Court jurisdiction, I cannot express a final view as to who is the Gamanche. My task is to consider whether the decision-making process by the National House of Chiefs were flawed by unfairness or by influence or of improper or irrelevant consideration, such as to render it unlawful. Now, the High Court would not disturb the decision of the House of Chiefs unless the House of Chiefs abuses its discretion when it reaches a decision to gazette a chief, and its decision is arbitrary and unreasonable. Ni a challenge ya me High Court the National House of Chiefs say they acted arbitrarily and capriciously. Reasons for this decision. Now, now, reason for this decision. Now, on 26 May 2015, the registrar wrote to the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs as follows. So, petition any amemmakete national ni national keba regional na amembisane ni nka ne abo jeje e quote na kan no pepepe ye bie ene nka ne fe abo. So maybe let me read it. No na so jeje ewo na kan no ne keba bomi ona konika o kan judgment there no ni nka ne abo mo no na ke sequel to my letter dated number NH/GHR/volume 9/26 dated 21st May 2015. Another petition relating to the above subject matter has been received by the National House of Chiefs from Nii Bruce Thompson, Esquire, of Dr. Ecole Daniels and Co. John Chambers, solicitor of Nii Adama Latse'S II. The petition is against the entry on the National Register of Chiefs of the name of Nii Adama Latse'S II as Gamanche. The president of the National House of Chiefs has directed me to refer this other petition to the Greater Accra House of Chiefs for comments and advice. The comments and advice of the House is necessary in view of the House's recommendation for Nii Adama Latse'S registration as contained in your letter number GAR/RC.015/volume 8/48 dated 20th April 2015 and the minutes attached thereon. Please treat as urgent. A.K. Essien, Acting Registrar, National House of Chiefs. So I can respond, Seba. Now, the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs received your letter with reference number dated 21st May 2015 on above subject matter. The issue was discussed at the research committee meeting held on the 27th day of May 2015 at the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, Dodowa, and the committee decided that the name Nii Adama Latse'S be entered into the National Register of Chiefs based on the following reasons. That one, nobody objected or petitioned against the installation of Nii Adama Latse'S II on the 11th of June 2011. Two, nobody or institution raised any issue against Nii Adama Latse'S II when he took over the Gamanche Palace from Dr. Joe Blankson in the capacity as Gamanche. Three, as at the time the chieftaincy declaration forms in respect of Nii Adama Latse'S was forwarded at the National House of Chiefs, there was no case or appeal pending before the Judicial Committee of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs or any other court. I am therefore directed by the President of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs to inform you of the decision of the House that the name Nii Adama Latse'S should be entered into the National Register of Chiefs. Two more pages. The contents of the two letters is factual and legal, both of which the courts accept. In my view, the Registrar of the National House of Chiefs did not abuse its discretion when it affirmed the legitimacy of the interested party, Adama Latse'S II, and formalized it by recording in its register the name Nii Adama Latse'S II as the Gamanche on the basis of the letter from the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs. The court held that act of insertion by the National House of Chiefs was an administrative act and not a judicial one. The application of all this, that not even an application for a judicial review, was a legal impediment to the register of the House of Chiefs, removing the name of the interested party from the Register of Chiefs because such an act is not adjudicative. Now, at the time the registrar entered the name of the interested party onto the register of the National House of Chiefs, no court of competent jurisdiction has declared the interested party ineligible to occupy the gastu. Let me read it again. Again, these people do not read. Amekaseni, ameyani, amebabiwolo. Amekaseni. If you read ye, read. And there is a new guy on the block. If he wants to maintain his credibility and not be treated like the rest, the new guy on the block, ask for documents Kaka video habwe. Anaka wolo habwe. Kwa video le mofun ba nye tashini ba male. She wolo male. Book no lie. Book. Buku. In no lie. Buku. In no lie. Now, at the time the registrar entered the name of the interested party onto the register of the National House of Chiefs, no court of competent jurisdiction has declared the interested party ineligible to occupy the stool. The registrar of the House of Chiefs is only obliged to recognize orders issued from a court of competent jurisdiction. Namwa o boy na min chogbe namwa o agbenema chogbe o lucho, you are fooling too much. You are an old fool. Bring it on. I'm waiting for that lawsuit of yours. Bring it on. The fact that a person alleged facts, which, if established, would entitle a person to a remedy, does not amount to this. These people, they've created a monster in me. Anytime you might try, I'll kick that monster out. I'm a few on the big again. To remedy does not amount in law to a legal impediment to the decision of the statutory functioning. I know where to cross the line. I know where I can be held with contempt of court. I know. New cases, I know where to cross the line. And I know. These are all settled cases. These are public records. Anybody can get it. Cases any can it be I have some of the documents. Because I know where I know as a journalist, I know where the boundary is. I know where it is. A legal impediment cannot mean what a court or a competent legal authority bodies may conclude at a future uncertain time. The impediment has to exist at the time the decision is made. For this reason, this court agrees with the registrar of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs when he informed the National House of Chiefs that there was no legal impediment in approving the application by Adama Latse'S II. I reiterate that it is not my function to interfere with the administrative duties of the National House of Chiefs. The petitioner's argument based upon particular unfairness is unpersuasive. This court is not in a position to make broad judgments about the balance of unfairness in relation to the validation of the interested parties' registration in the National House of Chiefs. It is presumed that an official duty had been regularly performed. Section 37(1) of the Evidence Act. The unanimous decisions of the regional and the National House of Chiefs on a customary matter should command the highest consideration of the court. Akoti, another The nature of mandamus. Mandamus is an extraordinary writ reserved for special situation. Among the conditions for a writ of mandamus are that an agency or official acted or failed to act in disregard of a clear legal duty, and that there is no adequate conventional means for a review. The test is whether mandamus could be an appropriate relief. A court should proceed with great caution before granting a relief in the nature of mandamus in chieftaincy matters. Chieftaincy litigation must be determined on its merits and leaves nothing for the court to do but to execute its judgment. The frequency of mandamus applications as a means to compel, remove, or annul the registration or gazetting of a chief is now becoming a convenient vehicle in chieftaincy matters. An action for the ordinary writ of mandamus is at best best a procedure which must be invoked in the absence of any statutory framework to obtain a relief. The jurisdiction of the Judicial Committee of the House of Chiefs is dependent upon the existence of a complaint that a person has not been properly nominated or installed as a chief. See Article 274(4) of the Constitution. In the circumstances above, the court considers most appropriate for the applicant to appeal to the Judicial Committee of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs for a further consideration of their grievances, and if there are good reasons, and proceedings may be heard de novo. Mandamus, therefore, is not a practical way to resolve unsettled and important question of who is the Gamanche king. A mandamus ought not to be used as a basis for subject matter jurisdiction. The court might make or refuse an order of mandamus not upon the merits of claim, but upon such delay or matter personal to the party applying for it. Whilst it is true that Dr. Joe Blankson died in 2012, Mr. Afrifa carefully drafted affidavit arguments and skillful attempt to rationalize the application fails to crack an essential barrier to the relief, latches, and acquiescence. The ordinary rule is that the court will refuse leave to claim judicial review unless satisfied that there is an arguable ground for judicial review having a realistic prospect or success and not subject to a discretionary bar or such as delay or an alternative remedy. Conclusion. For the reasons I have given, I feel driven to dismiss the applicant's petition for mandamus relief. The respondents / interested party are awarded 20,000 Ghana cedis cash each. I wish to thank counsel, in this case, for their helpful and well-presented arguments. Charles Ajay Wilson, Justice of the High Court. There you have it. So, ni petitioner can be an army fair. They filed a lawsuit. They filed a lawsuit. They lost that lawsuit against Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette. They lost it. And the judge relied on the documents from the Traditional Council and the Regional House of Chiefs stating at the time of Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette, there was nothing, absolutely nothing. So now me lose any, and of course, Gazette the government of the day through just a phone call can cause for the deletion of Adama Latse'S name. Ni ame feno na me ba fe, ni ame laka National House of Chiefs and ame pay bribe can be. Yes, I'm saying it. Na me use Justice Ali Baba. Justice Ali Baba akemi ake Shabiji mina chole mokomi, what's that guy's name? Stanley Ajiri Blankson. Akemi ake Shabini. Jo Shanu. Justice Ali Baba. Shabi jo Shanu G Stanley Ajiri Blankson. Yes, the same Stanley Ajiri Blankson. Monita na kan KSN. Ni no upwe KSN na mekete. It was not about the Gazette because they've already lost about the Gazette. Amekete ake National House of Chiefs. Akahe Nii Adama Latse'S. And yet National House of Chiefs do mono. Na mekete Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette. Yemi. There you have it. Bona. So once again, naga video no na na circulator. No ni nungwa UMF je anukwali. Well, there may be a color ni be a yeshi. The way ni embellish UMO ne a paint UMO. It is not true. The records from the Regional House of Chiefs clearly is showing you I can know the UFA. It is not true. So technically, I forged a signature and I can find a lawsuit, and they lost. So the original suit against the Gazette and registered me. They lost. They lost. I want you to hear it and hear it again. The original lawsuit against Gazette, Nii Adama Latse'S Gazette, they lost. It was another lawsuit against the National House from sitting Nii Adama Latse'S. You understand what I'm saying? No, no, ni ame dumono. So once again, let me play Lord Come Echo. Okay, if you are new to the channel, it will make sense. No, once again, can it will habo. In takoshi ebie ni minken nabu bag basandi. Ni kaneko will chonkobo. I don't do that here. Yes, I give my opinions all the time. They are like nonsense. Mofemo yeko. But I'm making sure I'm finishing you with the documents. Now what Lord Come Echo Ninja Boa Lord Come to Echo you know other one cones and what Nim Babie in 2016 Jele yo be I have to find that video. Konima no woman habo. Nim Babie in 2016 Jele yo be ni ga onukpa ikome banami ni afe kome alo jenake so nyani matwa Lord Come tape o fa ne kejo like ko show like mo ehami ye ishiba amli ona boni ni yo like mo show o hami ye ishiba amli jani fe mo kiyamoko no kiyamoko. Look, if cost more Kelvin Taki, I don't have a problem with it. But no quali. There are people they've admitted an injustice was done. Just no quali. No, no fait to mo ba proving no ba feneke na feneke. So the court documents do not support it. Now what Lord Come to it. Kawak bena nimbabi in 2016 no me jail manche. Agbene Obanake Lord Come ba make sense yan abo agbene.
So the money no do. Okay, contempt. Let the side to contempt with an authority of regional ministers, government, feeling and do free. But I come go side to contempt. Put it. We feel like I am you now. No, in the point there. Me, I'm actually, I mean, no, Kevin, I'm actually, I'm a call I'm at one. She, me feel strongly, okay. Can look at the Kenya, no. Be, he Jenny. Me can now, but okay, what is, what share again? No, be one, or what is wrong? Already, well, I guess I need to be your NBI. No, be, many. Okay, but hello. Okay, but many I use so. Men are used so no give many petable. It more politics what you feel there. I use many a potential campaign like a fight. It's a solid strategy. Yeah, it has always worked. It makes it very easy. Yeah, man. Which I know you.
Yeah.
Catch it, no, I've but fear, whether you like it or not. Gazette and a secondary matter. Gazette has always been secondary matter. Okay, and you and I know, at a serious yes, the government of the day, through just a phone call, can call for the deletion of Adama Latse'S name.
Exactly.
Exactly. But then the question is, if you delete Adama Latse'S today, okay, in the face of all these controversies, okay, tomorrow somebody will hold a press conference and say that I am also Gamanch.
Exactly. Even if Africa boy,
so the strategy, Kevin, because I like Africa, I don't know the show, no Bela.
Yeah.
Okay. I gamanche. Ni akeni esana na gamanche na by law you
Yes.
Sani afo economy.
Exactly so.
No, it's so easy. So that's the plan. It makes it so easy.
It's so, yeah.
Je don't is a commit. If you any hand, if you have.
Yeah.
In the case of Kevin, if you the traditional council, need about passing me. Ni equal affair automatic president alone. Look, I'm not saying I'm in favor. But I can't be a need to say. No, but I'm like, majority carries the vote. For the English and the I'm going to more than Chama for your meeting. Only. I'm saying I'm a meeting. Don't thank you, Tinto. O Tinto, and I have let you precious me. Only.
Oh. Ni in lo joba. Ni ake lakeba. No mi ekwe ni tako tulu eje ko eyin. Ni sebe takumo fan na kun eni.
You.
Be na ifan atun eni.
Na kan ti sane.
Ne wo minute yon wona.
Minute yon wona. No be ta fache kolake we be family. Allo kolake ta fache hila famo duwi.
Yeah.
Okay, na kan kaba. Hila famo ju. No be kena kan kusu ni salo ba se be se ami. Plage ba fe.
Dabi abanyo fe jone ya.
Pepe. No ka bolo here ni. Ta fache o conscience serve you right papa. No be fun momo. Ne do mo be si anadia ne ba tuni yo gba mi na gbe na. Okay? Alo ba ji oye, chemo here mo. No, chemo here ke to afan be. Kono ka ga ni nan, kumo no kwa ni mi twa ke ni mene e ya mo mi ka ke ne fe ni wa o here. Kono na men dai. Hello, na men dai.
So this is making sense now, right? Agbenani ole eneme dabi Mr. Baxing ni dabi onu jamo jogba ni gbese support ni Lord come here mo pressure ni gbese support na ka mo onu jamo jogba ni gbese was against the move. Phone call any Lord come efe mo efe na get pressure agme ni gbese agme dabi. So I think I got onu jamo jogba ni gbese was not part of this. Lord come a use a pressure and say PRO no. So that was him pressuring. You get are you even guy you okay contempt. So Nigbe say Jimmy ko age kefe no go contempt. So nyani watwa nimba bia in 2016 no me bo baby nya watwa
me ya no me itabi baby 2016 am I right? Me baby si ofemo ko yewale afi ko me na wole de bata hita Jay Gano Jimmy, she now for me Swalaba, the family you don't find your kind. No, whenever I will stand at Jerry Branson, look by the organ, and I can buy me or face.
So over the ache Ajiri Blanks be ama fake correction. So ake mi ake inkebo ake in-law dabi J in-law G Justice Ali Baba ake ekele chuni ye AMB be amini Nii Ajiri Blanks was the mayor Justice Ali Baba it was an administrative officer Kea Nii Ajiri Blanks so J in-law ni she ekele chuni as an administrative officer for Nii Ajiri Blanks. So I'ma make that kind of correction here. Here you go.
Mina bacho machiago ya Ghana. Leo mbabie ake mimba make lake. Le ke mancheme New York. The Gambia fair. Big thanks. Ni Daniel fancy.
Bona. Nimbabia in 2016 gele yo bie. Nye bi Akufo-Addo ake in 2016 Namonomi Eji Manche. I have the pictures here. Some of you've seen it. Akufuado, Kemoniji Manche, we have it here. That's him telling you again, but she was fair, come. Ajiri Blanksing get gone, come in, come. You were wola tajame, be a neighbor tonga. Eken you were wola tajame, be a neighbor tonga man, eba tomancho nupa. Where game, Yebesuma. Game, Yebesuma. Joe me na chole ba ye nduna gbese bi e pejo over na je na kan jibo na cho Joe ba ye nduna gbese man che pejo ba na ga chole ba ye nduna gbese man che pejo ba moko ejo ba ye nduna gbese man che pe nso na ajata oversize nyawa kweko ba ye nduna ke jenshi no onye ba na ba ye nduna gbese man che me pejo man Kona ni manche konjo ba yendu na naga manche ejujowe. Chabega yeme nyefenye yi ana walada nindanyeshi age wasa wofi mene wetashi. Oh benye la me solomoni nye chole ke teshime nye cho nye ko guna gamashi dabi gamashi wake guna dabi what use or d Nungua me guna nyenye ko wake guna dabi gamashele d is d. Gamashi ko suwe wake chele guna. Before the machine ving pabu fine get your God donation back way. Bomba de no God donation once again. A very big thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Annan, Uncle Sam, man gifty. Thank you so much. Yeah, D for do. Naga pepe. D for do. Aba. Yara walada. We'll talk about Bese if possible. Call me some other time, but I have plans to come here and talk about what is really happening in Bese. Nyetia me kumenya na wache ninate actually a article ni ma subsequently if interview your own machine. A lot of you sent it to me asking me what is really happening in Bese Bona. I'm gonna see if tomorrow we can get somebody from Bese ni wabile and no ni ya no ojogban ye Bese. So keji if available I'll bring the person on ni about discuss like an article letting you majemi ke interview only if ye o machine ye majemi so that we will talk about it. Shout out to you, Mr. Nigwe. Mpa ofanebe oyo ojogba. So once again, chemeke nyeme nyefenye yana walada mindanyeshi. We'll continue to speak the truth. We'll continue to give you the facts. This is nothing personal. Gan. Edafe Nii Adama Latse'S. Gan. Edafe Kelvin Taki. Gan. Edafe me. Gan. Edafe Boo. Nuni Wafio, we are not doing it because of one particular individual. Akamale ke kutumpo ekpotoga. Esani wake anukwale ke ejron achaga. And that is what I try my very best. Shout outs to you, Alaji. Alaji ba ofane boy ojugba. That is what I try my very best to do here. Anukwale ke jale. No wakaba fite amale ke kutumpo na ke fite gan. You understand what I'm saying? So, yes, I am Prince George because I believe the truth is with King George. You understand what I'm saying? Had the truth not been with King George, I would not be Prince George. You understand what I'm saying? So, once again, I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for joining me today. Any video I'm about to put out there, any document I'm about to put out there, I will come here and I will rebut it. No fear so far, no fear no make more jame fe benyana. I'll come and give nkabo ya mean 3D nka wa eko dabi achunu chumo na kai. You understand what I'm saying? So mean that you finish okleje ajonye na emisa o yana walada. So kenyumo ya asumo ni naka ni femo ba nye ba no oba pe e bi ewo. Nye fe nye ke hia kwamojono. Bye bye.